Carolina out of Conference USA. Welcome, everyone, to the GMAC Bowl. This is Lad People Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. 63 degrees, clear skies. A capacity crowd is expected for 25th ranked Marshall against East Carolina. Hi, everybody, and good evening. Welcome to Bowl 2 out of 25. I'm Steve Levy. We should have all sorts of fun here tonight. These two teams average a combined 70 points per game. They're led by record-setting quarterbacks who figure to play on Sundays. Those NFL types, they love size in their quarterbacks, and we've got size. In case you're wondering where's the beef, just look at Byron Leftwich and David Garrard. You check out their height and weight. Joined by my partner now, Todd Christensen, and you look at the quarterbacks, the situation here, a record setter, Byron Leftwich, 4,000 yards passing. He joins only David Carr across the nation.
And he joins himself as the only one in the history of the MAC to have done that, to throw for over 4,000 yards. The other number that stands out to me, 38 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. He has had an absolutely monster year. And coming into this game, Steve, East Carolina's defense has really struggled against the pass. They're 101st out of 117 teams, so it is conceivable that Byron Leftwich could have a field day.
Then there's the other guy, not to be lost in Leftwich's numbers, David Garrard. 28 records for East Carolina he owns. That's passing and total offense.
And it feels like he's been around forever, hasn't it? He's a 4-year starter. He's been tremendous for the Pirates. Second all-time in the CUSA in terms of total offense. And you see, that's pretty impressive there, too. The only player in the history of Division 1A, 9,000 yards passing, 1,200 yards rushing. It's the second part of that I think is going to be significant for East Carolina tonight, his ability to run the option against this Marshall defense.
Now, that's not to say we won't have any defense, because in terms of defense, Max Yates, the MAC Defensive Player of the Year, will be on display. Pernell Griffin is Conference USA's all-time leading tacklers. We've got a little bit or a lot of everything. We expect fireworks tonight. We'll send you back to Chris Fowler, Terry Bowden, and Mark May coming up right after these messages.
Okay.
Welcome back to Mobile, Alabama. We are set to go with Marshall and East Carolina. And join the third member of our broadcast team. That's Dave Ryan. Rhino.
All right, Steve, thanks a lot. Not many college football fans know a whole lot about East Carolina star running back Leonard Henry. Maybe they should with a big season he's had. More than 1,400 yards on the ground rushing. Set a bunch of East Carolina and Conference USA records. But he was a second stringer his first 3 years at ECU. One key reason for his surge this year has been the hiring of strength coach Jim Witten, who implemented a speed program down in Greenville, running 40, 60, and 100-yard dashes at full speed all season long, 3 times a week to help improve Henry's quickness. Combine that with a disciplined diet to keep the weight on, and he's 205 pounds, exactly where they want him. Guys expect Henry to have a big game tonight. Marshall gives up more than 217 yards rushing per game, and Chester Taylor of Toledo in the MAC title game blitzes that Herd defense for 188 yards.
All right, Dave, thanks very much. You look at the series history. These teams have not met since 1978. You see what the score was there, but the prior meeting, November 14th, 1970, these two schools will be tied together forever. That was the game. Marshall returned back to West Virginia after losing by 3 to East Carolina in Greenville, and the charter plane that went down, all 75 aboard were killed. Memorial services were also held on the East Carolina campus. As you look at our conditions here tonight, 63 degrees. Not bad for December the 19th.
Feels awfully good, I must confess. I like being in shirt sleeves, man. Feels good.
Marshall has won the toss, and they will receive. Kevin Miller will kick it away for East Carolina. Curtis Jones and Roberto Terrell are back deep for Marshall.
And that in and of itself, I think, is interesting, Steve, that throughout the season, most of the teams that win the toss have been deferring. It just goes to show how much confidence that Bob Pruitt and their offensive coordinator, Ed Zonbrecker, have in Byron Leftwich.
Marshall in the all-white uniforms. They wear all white or all green only for special occasions. And this is one of them. And the GMAC Bowl underway from Mobile, Alabama. Glad you could be with us on ESPN2. Terrell will just take a knee in the end zone. And Marshall, and that amazing offense, will take to the field 1st and 10 from their own 20. Byron Leftwich, the quarterback, the junior, and he's sticking around for his senior season.
Pretty good collection of wide receivers there. The 3 of them combined for over 220 catches and more than 3,000 yards. Watts is their speedster. He's the guy they try to have stretch the defense.
down and 10 for Marshall from the 20. They open up single step back and they play a one-back offense. Franklin Wallace is that one back. Leftwich a drop back to the shotgun. Two receivers to his left bottom. He was screened, one up top. You got to watch for his Darius Watts. Leftwich, great protection all sorts of time. Now he's being chased. He hits down. Hit hard by Bernard Williams for a loss of 2 on the play. And the offensive line for Marshall that protected him for so long there. As you look at the left side, Shulo Content. They have been the big key. They've started every single game. There's more movement on the right side in terms of injuries.
Well, this front three has not been able to get to the quarterback very often, as witnessed by that first play. But look at Bernard Williams provide a little bit of a pass rush on the outside.
They go 5 wide receivers here on second down and 12. Here's Leftwich. Tried to set up the screen. It's tipped and caught, and it's going to be a touchdown. Ty Hunt. Deflection returned it 12 yards for a touchdown. It went off the hands of Danilo Marriott and right to Ty Hunt. How about that for the senior way to end his college career?
You see Tim Rose, the defensive coordinator on the sidelines. He has to be very pleased with this little piece of serendipity. And on the part of Hunt, that's a great catch. This is a poor throw on the part of Leftwich. This is actually an easy throw right here, but he throws it behind him. Marriott is on the run, and sometimes you have to be coming parallel to the line of scrimmage. He's just a little bit too far in front, and the result is an interception and a touchdown for the Pirates.
Kevin Miller puts through the extra point. How about that for a start? 57 seconds in. Ty Hunt, a 12-yard interception return for a touchdown, and the Pirates lead 7-0.
Well, again, here's a situation to where Bob Pruitt can't be too terribly worried, because really this is what they're going to do. This is the young man that's got to throw the ball, and he has to overcome this early mistake. But it was either a poor throw on the part of Leftwich, or Marriott took a bad turn coming into the middle for the bubble screen. And I'm beginning to think it was a little bit of the former, because clearly, Steve, on the very first play of the game, you saw Leftwich audibly and doing all these crazy things. The first play of the game, you just have what you have. Watch the ball. You can see right here, he has to step back a little bit, and a ricocheting off his arm right into the arms of Hunt. Certainly a good omen for East Carolina.
East Carolina, they own the first quarter. They continue to get off the fast starts. This season, now with that touchdown, they've now outscored their opposition 119 to 25.
That's what everybody talks about. They want to get off to a fast start, but as we know well in sports, it's how you finish. And that's where East Carolina has struggled a little bit.
There's Steve Logan. He told us in our conference call when we spoke with him earlier, he said, hey, we've dismantled the opposition early in games, but then find ourselves trying to hang on for a victory. Curtis Jones is taken out of the end zone on that kickoff, and Marshall will try it again.
Now, in the case of Leftwich, he needs to come back here, get some short throws. The first 2 plays, East Carolina was in zones both times, and so he needs to get comfortable. He needs to get a rhythm, complete a couple of passes, get his confidence.
Neither of these two schools come in particularly hot. Marshall lost the MAC championship game after having a 23-0 lead. Of course, East Carolina dropped their final 2 games, both at home, blowing double-digit leads in those games. And again, it's like Leftwich changing the play at the line of scrimmage on first down and 10, and they'll put it on the ground of Franklin Wallace to try the right side. Good second and third effort. He's just across the 25, out to the 26, taken down by Anthony Adams. And the rest of that East Carolina defense, Pernell Griffin is the big star for East Carolina. He's in the top 5 in the nation in total tackles.
A lot of pressure on this secondary coming in, as we pointed out, 101st in the nation against the pass. A lot of pressure simply because of the fact you're going to see all sorts of 4 and 5 wide receiver sets.
Second down and 4. Appears to be a player down on the far side as you get a good look at Pernell.
Steve Content is the player down offensive lineman. Not a very good start for the Marshall Thundering Herd.
Louise? Oh, changez mon discours en musée, s'il vous plaît.
Oui.
But for really smart, check out this Palm handheld from CompUSA. It manages your calendar, gets email. Oh, here's one. The Fed needs me to lecture on our monetary system. Again?
CompUSA, where America buys technology. Buy select Palm handhelds at CompUSA and get a 16-meg expansion card free.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the 2001 GMAC Bowl is presented by GMAC and their family of financial services.
Back in Mobile, Alabama. If you're just joining us, well, you've missed a lot already. Ty Hunt, a 12-yard interception return for a touchdown, giving East Carolina the lead. Marshall, this is their second possession. Again, even after a lengthy delay for an injury, they come up with their blitz, taking plenty of time to get the play off the line of scrimmage. Again, it's Wallace trying the right side. He's very close to a first down. Give him 3 on the play. Todd, why is that? It looks like almost confusion or changing the play, the line of scrimmage every single time they come up.
Which I don't think makes a lot of sense. I realize that they give him the autonomy to do that, but also for the sake of continuity and getting some rhythm, call the play in the huddle and let's get going. And again, let's not forget Wallace, nearly 800 yards rushing this year, 5.2 a carry. That's not a bad alternative.
Dave has more on that. Dave?
Steve, you see Byron Leftwich checking at the line. This is all check with me plays. You see a quick sneak. This is a no-huddle offense, Steve. And watching the Toledo game on the game tape this week, we noticed that what Byron Leftwich will do is get the signal from the sideline, the Marshall sideline. He'll then read off the play to his teammates. Now, at the line, he'll do a lot of changing, a lot of audibling. It's not actually a huddle offense, but he'll sometimes milk that play clock all the way down to 2 or 3. Very rarely. Ed Zomberecker, the offensive coordinator, told me only 3 times this year they had to lay of game penalties. He's got a great command of this offense.
Zomberecker said he directs his protection very well, and I think that's what you're seeing. As they go 5 wide receivers on the sneak, he's able to get the first down himself. You see the play clock down to 8. We'll see how low it can go. 3 receivers to his left, bottom of your screen. Leftwich looking in that direction. Now firing across the middle. And it looked like there was some contact. And Errol Marriott was down the middle of the field, but the pass was nowhere near him.
Good no call. I think his legs got tangled up with the defender. Watch number 13 to your left of your screen. Break to the inside. Oh yeah. Well, I stand corrected. That has to be. That's well past. That's well past 5 yards.
Travis Heath.
And of course, Travis Heath is the one who should have been called for contact down 5 yards. It appeared from my vantage point the legs got tangled up. So much from my vantage.
Second down and 10 after the incompletion. On the draw play, Franklin rolls quick and tackles across midfield, and he can't break the last one. He rumbles down inside the 40, down to the 38, gain of 29 on the play. Heath had to make the stop.
Of course, one of the advantages when you have a 4 and 5 wide receiver situation is it spreads everybody out. The Wallace actually, that's 2 broken tackles. There's 3. There's a 4th. Number 24 is showing his strength and stiff arm as well as quick feet getting down the field. He runs a lot bigger than his 6 feet, 190-pound frame would indicate.
Wallace will come out, get a breather. He'll be replaced by Brandon Carey. Steve Content was the injured player. He remains out of the lineup, replaced by Luke Sammons at the left guard position.
One of the things that ultimately, putting a caveat to what Dave Ryan was saying, Steve, and that is that one of the things that happens for East Carolina is that they're going to spend an awful lot of time on the field anyway. Their time of possession is 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes less than their opposition. So that can make it.
Shotgun snap gets away from Leftwich, trying to fall on it. It's picked up by East Carolina. Down the far sideline to the 10. It's Jerome Stewart. Touchdown. A 42-yard fumble return for a touchdown for Jerome Stewart. And the defense is the offense for East Carolina so far.
If you're Steve Logan, you can't have anything any better. Joey Stepp just has an awful snap, and Leftwich just can't get to it. Give credit there where credit is due, and number 26 who's hustling over there for East Carolina. That happens to be Christian Gilliam is the one who separates Leftwich from the ball, enabling the recovery and the subsequent touchdown.
And the extra point from Kevin Miller is good. How do you figure this game out? Byron Leftwich. He's applauding, trying to get his team back in the game. A couple of mistakes, and it's 14-0 East Carolina.
coming to Mobile. 7,000 years of technological innovation and craftsmanship, all demonstrated by actual Chinese artisans. Long before Silicon Valley, China was the place to be if you were cutting edge. Gunpowder, paper, silk, all manner of things that we take for granted are gifts from China to the world. I still use a manual typewriter, but a two-story loom that is the predecessor of the modern computer, well, that intrigues even me.
Come to Mobile and celebrate 300 years of America. Mobile's tricentennial celebration is your opportunity to discover an exhibit not found anywhere else in the world. China, 7,000 years of innovation. For ticket and vacation package information, call 1-800-5-MOBILE or log on to www.mobile.org.
Made in China. I think this exhibit will change your perspective on that well-worn phrase.
They took the test. They made the grade. Now they're giving Harvard a real education.
You East Coast? I far East Coast. I'm from Wisconsin.
Just be cool, and you might have some fun this semester.
Method Man.
Them girls only know 3 words. Stop, no, and don't.
Red Man.
They always tell me, no, don't stop.
How High.
What's your name?
Rated R. Theaters Friday. The rites of passage at Texas A&M. A season of college football from the sidelines. Thursday at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific on ESPN.
Jeff Edwards is one with the errant snap on that last play, but turnovers have been a bugaboo early. Ty Hunt, of course, gets the gift 12-yard interception. And as we mentioned, it was not Joey Stepp, but indeed Jeff Edwards who had the snap that went awry. And the byproduct once again is a turnover, and Johnny on the spot is Jerome Stewart, who marches in for the second touchdown of the game for the East Carolina Pirates.
East Carolina came in 105th in the nation in turnover margin. Well, they're +2 today as Jeff Edwards will take the brunt for that snap.
And once again, Steve, I really think that maybe Leftwich is trying just a little bit too hard. Get up to the line of scrimmage. I understand what Dave said. He's absolutely right. It's great that he masters the offense, but a game like this where they haven't played in a little while, bowl game's a big deal. They're on foreign turf. Run the plays. Run the plays. Get your rhythm. Don't try too hard. Just play the game.
We've documented Marshall's offense, and with that offense, there's no way they're out of any football game until it gets really late. So 14-0 is by no means insurmountable. Here's Curtis Jones, returning the 3rd kickoff of the game already for Marshall. And this is the first time he actually returns it out to the 16, a gain of 16 yards. Vonta Leach on the special team stop.
That's a big special team stop by Leach for this reason, and that is against Marshall. You like to get a little bit of a break, meaning your offense isn't going, okay, let's get a special teams play. Instead, you're inside the 20. You've got to go 83 yards. A lot of pressure on the shoulders of number 7.
He will have his starting left guard back in the game. Steve Content has returned from injury. So East Carolina leads 14-0. They have yet to run an offensive play. Here's Leftwich rolling to his right and throwing and completing. Hits Denero Marriott. And Marriott has enough for a first down. Gain of 11 on the play. And some confidence maybe starting to build for Marshall.
Now, one thing he does there that he hadn't done previously is rolls out a little bit. Gets out of the pocket, survey the field a little bit, be on the move. Try something different.
On first down and 10, out of the shotgun. And now as he moves towards the line of scrimmage, a flag goes down. It's a Big Ten officiating crew. It looked like the call was a motion penalty. Tomorrow night, the 2001 bowl season continues at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Phillip Rivers and the NC State Wolfpack. They'll meet up with the Pitt Panthers in Orlando and potentially their superstar receiver Antonio Bryant. He made the trip. Still questionable whether he will in fact play tomorrow night. Wow, they try to set up the screen for the wide receiver Curtis Jones. He is belted after the gain of to hit by Greg Lefevre.
This is not a very good throw. Take a look at the loft on this, so he needs to drill this. Instead, he throws it off his back foot. It's soft. The combination of it being soft and having it jump, Lefevre loves it, saying, boy, I'm licking my chop zones. I'm whacking him.
Second down and 13 on the play. They get 2 back after the penalty, walking for the motion penalty. Carolina coming on the blitz. Leftwich able to get away with it and connect with Curtis Jones again. Gain of 9 on the play. Bring up a 3rd down and 4.
I wouldn't say that it's crucial that he gets this first down, but it can sure do an awful lot for his confidence. As you pointed out, the game's not even 5 minutes old. And offensively, they really haven't done much other than Wallace running the ball. And that's why I'm surprised, too. That's been the most effective weapon. Why not give him the ball a little bit more, Steve?
3rd down and 4, and we'll talk it over. The Saturn Lightship is providing us with these magnificent aerial views of the GMAC Bowl tonight. The Saturn team hopes you enjoy the overhead views of historic Mobile. They're proud to be a part of ESPN's coverage of college football. 6 defensive backs now in the game for East Carolina. On 3rd down and 4. 4 receivers in the pattern, and the running back Wallace, and that's who they throw to. Needs a safety valve there. Maybe a loose football after a gain of 3. Out to the 37-yard line. They're going to come up short.
Well, the 6 defensive backs did a great job in coverage, so all he can do is go to his outlet in anticipation. You're hoping then that Wallace can break a couple of tackles, but there are just too many tackles that have to be broken. And up to this point, Tim Rose, the defensive coordinator for East Carolina, has to be the most excited man on the field. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. Yes, indeed. He's got to be very happy with the way his Chargers have performed early on.
Curtis Head is on to punt. Art Brown is back for East Carolina. Head from the 24-yard line. Snap gets away without a problem. It's a low, short kick. And Art Brown on the 30. Goes south before he can go north, and now cuts it upfield along the sideline. We'll see where they mark him out. He ran out to the 42, but he was really out of bounds at the 36. It's a punt of 38 yards and a return of 16. David Garrard and the East Carolina offense. They got to be rusty. They haven't seen the field yet. And yet the Pirates lead 14-0. Back to Mobile after this. The GMAC Bowl on ESPN2. There is David Garrard, the record setter, making his 39th consecutive start at quarterback for East Carolina.
Backs and receivers, you already documented how well Leonard Henry has done this year. If they have a go-to guy, it would probably be number 1, Richard Alston.
First down and 10. Their first offensive play comes with 8:57 left in the first quarter. And they hand it off, and what a hit. Leonard Henry, the running back, absorbs a big hit there by Chris Crocker after the gain of 6. And the East Carolina offensive line looks like this. Brian Rimp, the left tackle, he's the star of this group.
Defensive line has to get it going, particularly against the run. They have really struggled, but the big man for them has been All-MAC performer number 34, Ralph Street.
Second down and 4. 3 receivers to Garrard's left. Little play action and throw it out in the flat. Well, there's Terrence Copper. And Copper will have enough for the first down for East Carolina after the gain of 8.
Marshall has been put in an unenviable position, Steve, and that is to have to be able to stop these people. And, of course, the linebacker position, number 5, Max 8, their 150 tackle guy, is their leader in the interior.
And the secondary, Yancey Satterwhite, 3 interceptions to lead the way. Crocker, though, had that huge hit there. And Henry's still feeling that. 4 receivers in the game for East Carolina.
Well, as I said, you know, they've been so dependent on their offense. You know, the defense does give up 26 points a game, and if those first 2 plays are any indication, it would seem to me, you see the young man who put the big hit on Henry earlier, and that's Crocker. They need a few more of those big hits because, at least early on, Steve, East Carolina just seems to, what's the cliche phrase? Want it more. That's it. They want it more.
The We've had problems with the clock here. I believe it's supposed to be 8:15 left in this first quarter. There you see. We set up the clock. And now they wind it down again.
Waste 12. Never mind.
You get the idea. Here's Garrard on first down and 10. Henry is hit and hit hard again. That time Alonzo Jones put the stick on him in the backfield for the loss of 4.
Well, they came with a blitz. They came with an all-out run blitz, and they guessed right there on first down. Take a look at all the white shirts that are going to be coming. Bam, bam. Here we come. Guess what? We're there. No, not enough people to block the white shirts, and as a result, guessing right as the Marshall defense, Larry Davis, senior linebacker. That 6'2", 200 pounds is fairly common now at the collegiate level. They want outside linebackers that can run and cover as well as good.
Second down and 14 now. This time they play action to Henry. Garrard buys himself some time. Able to set up and throw and complete to Arnie Powell. And he's got the first down. He's out to the 36-yard line. Gain of 16 before Davis brought him down.
The misdirection is not necessarily what fooled Marshall, but Powell does a great job of setting down in the middle of the field. Watch right here. You're going to see number 5 get to the middle and then just sit down. Watch him just sit down. Instead of keep running with his quarterback, he sits down. And as a result, Yates is sitting there saying, hey, you know what, I know this play. I'm going to run with him. But instead, as a result of Powell sitting down in the middle, he gets the completion. First down.
Powell got the first down. He lost his shoe. And he's out for a breather. He'll work on that. Get back in the game. They option. Garrard will keep it himself. And now he pitches it back. Leveling it to Richard Alston down the sideline. Down to the 8-yard line.
We mentioned at the top of the show, Steve, that one of the things that can be very effective for East Carolina is Garrard's ability to run the option. He has passed the line of scrimmage. He's got a 4 or 5 yard gain. Great athletic ability. He sees that he's about to go down, pitches to Alston. Great blocking downfield. And as a result now, here are the Pirates knocking on the door inside the 10-yard line, first and goal.
That's their unconventional option play, right?
It is. But you know what? You've seen Eric Crouch do it a bunch of times. You've seen Randall L. do it a bunch of times. Those are 190-pound quick guys. This is 250.
The play goes for 27 yards. First down and goal. Carolina looking to blow this baby open. Here's Garrard, the option, keeping it. Touchdown. And he goes into the end zone untouched. Made it look easy. The 9-yard score for Garrard.
Ralph Street, the defensive end, had to make a decision. Am I going to go after the quarterback or am I going to go after the back? He opts to go after the back. As a result, there's no run support. Watch right here. Watch Street, number 34. He decides to go after Henry. There's nobody that comes up and takes Garrard, and as a result, he goes into the end zone untouched.
7th rushing touchdown this season for Garrard, who is their 3rd leading rusher on the team. And Kevin Miller having a field day. He's already got 3 extra points. With 6:48 to play in the first quarter, this has to come as a total shocker. East Carolina handling Marshall 21-0. That is updated. East Carolina has owned their opponents in the first quarter. We get a great example of that here.
What a great example this year, Steve, to segue that. Think of all the unbelievable upsets that have led into the BCS. About a half dozen games were just completely unpredictable. Here you have a team that's 10-2, that's ranked. Everybody's talking about how great Marshall is. They're favored. Then you go against East Carolina, who's 6-5, ended the season with 2 home losses. You would have thought that they would have come here and been the team that was just happy to be here. We'll see if we can put on a little bit of a show, not get hurt and go home. Instead, they're the ones that are really kicking some butt here early on.
Marshall, nationally ranked, 25th in the nation. And Garrard making it look easy, Todd.
Well, again, don't forget we talked about his girth. It's not as if the guy runs the 40 and 5.3. I mean, he can't run that option.
He is, according to the Sporting News, number 7 among draft-eligible quarterbacks in the nation. For those who might be coming out. And there you look at the scoring drive. They often score quickly, and that kick out of the end zone, and Marshall will try it 1st and 10 from their own 20, down 21-0.
3 straight touchbacks for Kevin Miller. That bodes well for their defense once again. And there it is, 42 offensive touchdown drives. And, of course, the issue there is this right here. Does not take much time. And that's great and it's exciting. But the one thing that I mentioned earlier, it does mean that their defense spends an awful lot of time on the field. But at this point, I don't think they care. They got plenty of energy.
On 1st down and 10 for Marshall. Marshall down 21 to nothing. Brandon carry for 1 yard.
Well, the one thing I think that Byron Leftwich has to feel, as well as Ed Zonbrack and the offensive coordinators, they still need to take some baby steps. Yes, they're down 21 to nothing, but they're not going to get it all back in 1 or 2 plays. But that young man Leftwich is off to such a horrendous start. He needs to get some confidence. They need to get some play that works.
5 receivers out there now in the pattern. 3 to the right of Leftwich. Leftwich, the right-handed passer, of course. He was left with Chris Martin is the intended target. Leftwich has him out to the 34-yard line, where he's out of bounds after the gain of 13. On Friday, on ESPN at 5:30 Eastern, the Division I AA Championship. Check out Furman as they take on Montana. That's 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, the Division I AA College Football Championship. Want a playoff system? They've got one. Check it out on ESPN.
Paladin, where have you roamed? Remember that? Oh, you're too young. Never mind.
Here's Leftwich. I remember it very well. We talked about it pregame. That's what I remember it from. That pass is completed to Josh Davis for a big gain.
This is exactly what needed to happen for Leftwich, and Josh Davis, one of the trio of receivers who has put together some very impressive numbers this year. 74 receptions and 5 touchdowns for Davis. Nice throw here in between the shirts.
25-yard gain on that play. Leftwich will bring him up. On 1st down and 10. Actually taking the snap from under center. And the quick pass caught on the far side. Again, it's Josh Davis. Out of bounds after the gain of 6. Let's go down to Dave. He's got a special guest.
Special guest indeed. Jim Donnan was the head coach of Marshall for 6 years. Won a AA championship back in 1992. You really were one of the chief architects of this program that Bob Pruitt has brought forth now to greatness, winning all the Mid-American Conference championships and the Motor City Bowls. Your thoughts on how the program has progressed since you left to go to Georgia?
Well, I guarantee you, Bob's done a terrific job. They had a tough start tonight, but when you look at what they've done over the last 5 years, it's incredible.
4 years for you at Georgia, 4 bowl games. You're gone now. What's next in your future these days?
Well, I just enjoy watching this game tonight. It's the first one I've ever got to see for the Herd, but really enjoying working a little bit with ESPN, and hopefully I can do a little bit more of that.
Guys, his last bowl game, a bowl win. Hawaii, we saw it against Virginia, Oahu Bowl.
All right, Dave, Jim was honored yesterday at the Mayor's Luncheon here. Champion of Life Award. Congratulations to Jim Donnan, one of the real good people in college football. Here's Leftwich throwing and completing. Able to hook up with Denaro Marriott, and Leftwich all of a sudden caught on a roll. He's 8 for his last 8.
And it's interesting, that throw bespeaks what you just said. He put it right on the hands of Marriott. Watch how Marriott does not have to slow down. Look at this. He continues to speed, hits him right on the hands. He's actually able to come up with it. And you know what, Marriott, no, not one of the, not a member of that hotel chain, in case you're curious. But then again, dinero does mean money.
Here's Leftwich, rolling to his right and throwing, and again it's Marriott. He's inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. 15-yard gain on the play. Denaro Marriott was the MVP for Marshall in the MAC championship game, but they lost that game.
I was just about to say, Steve, 10 catches for 179 yards and 4 touchdowns. Number 13, not so unlucky here. Once again, puts the ball right on the hands. And clearly in that game, as I say, 10 catches, no triskaidekaphobia for Leftwich.
Back up.
On 1st down and goal. Try the running game back to Franklin Wallace, trying to mix some of that run with all that pass. Ty Hunt brought him down after the gain of 1. If you recall, Hunt started the scoring in this game. This 12-yard interception return of a touchdown off of Brian Leftwich, who was actually tipped by Marriott.
Let me ask you an interesting question at this point. Down 21-0 inside the 10, and we discussed
4-down territory?
Exactly. What do you think?
I would think so.
Really?
Get some confidence, get some things going here. If you take a field goal here at this point, isn't that almost like a loss? We'll see. 2nd down and goal. It's the 9th play of the drive. Leftwich is 5 for 5 during this drive. They've got some things going. Good protection all sorts of time. And it is
Steve, this is not, you see the coach say throw it away, but really this isn't Leftwich's fault. Watch the left of your screen. He's anticipating this receiver is going to come across. He stops the pattern. Now he's waiting for him to run. He does not run. He just stands still. I believe that was Curtis Jones. He was anticipating continuing to run. He does not, and as a result, it looks like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Neil O'Donnell throw. Remember that in the Super Bowl? You know, they made Larry Brown the MVP?
Leftwich was 9 for 9 during that drive before he picked off, but as you point out, not entirely his fault. Derek Collier was the intended target there for David Garrard.
When the play breaks down, a receiver has to come back to the quarterback. Even in the end zone, you run back towards him because he's running to his right. He doesn't want to throw the ball across his body, which is exactly what happened. He needed Jones to come to him. He stopped the minute he threw the ball, and that was the death knell for that offensive drive.
21-0. Under 3.5 to play here in the first quarter. Garrard will hand it off to Leonard Henry. Sam Goins made the stop. Goins playing with a touch of the flu today.
They desperately need a 3-and-out, does Marshall here. Because as you said even a field goal would have been lost. How much worse is an interception? A lot worse. Because the sideline for Marshall right now, the body language speaks volumes. They're not terribly happy.
Third down conversions. Marshall, among the best in the nation. East Carolina with their opportunity right here. On 3rd and 8, Garrard on the option this time. He will pick it. Took a big hit. Got it off to Henry. Looks like he'll be just shy of the first down. We'll see where they spot it. Gain of 7 on the play. Terrence Harpley made the stop. And it looks like he will be short.
Ralph Street, number 34, decides this time. He says, all right, you know what? I went after the pitch guy. This time, forget it. I'm going after the QB. Pow! Now he counts on his secondary people to come up and make the tackle, which they do. Watch number 34. Forget the pitch guy. Bam. And I'm going to make you pay for it. You saw him follow through and tackle Garrard. He's saying, all right, if you're going to run the option, fine. And I'm going to make sure that you're bumped and bruised as a result.
Josh Davis back deep to receive the Jared Preston punt. A short punt. It takes a Marshall bounce, and it'll go out of bounds to the 30-yard line. It's a 41-yard punt. A minute 55 left in the first quarter. Marshall will get the football and try to do something with it. Tomorrow night on ESPN2, full night of college hoops, 7 Eastern. Vincent Yarbrough in Tennessee visit Reese Gaines and Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals. Then the nightcap, Kevin Lydland Greer, the Temple Owls, host that diaper dandy DeJuan Wagner. And the Memphis Tigers, of course, John Chaney.
In this corner, weighing 155 pounds, 66 years of age, John Chaney. In the other corner,
170 pounds, John Calipari.
That will be an intriguing matchup. The show with inside the show between the two head coaches tomorrow night. Something to watch. College hoops on ESPN.
You know, they show that footage every now and then. Remember that? It was in the post-game press conference. Calipari's up there at the pulpit, and all of a sudden, here comes Don Chaney, boy, I tell you what, good thing some people stepped in front of him.
And Chaney always looks wrinkled anyway, with his tie undone and shirt sticking out.
Well, and you know what? Let's face it. John Chaney, he's a Philly guy. He's not afraid of anything, right?
Absolutely.
Philly guys are tough.
As tough as they come. Motion penalty. Going to push him back. 5-yard loss on the play. This was the best field position of the day for Marshall. This is their 5th drive. Here's Leftwich rolling to his right and completing. And maybe a gain of 1 on the play. Josh Davis probably wasn't worth making the reception.
Well, East Carolina in the last 2 games did not tackle particularly well, but up to this point, they seem to have rectified that ill as they are knocking people all over the place.
5 receivers for Leftwich, 3 to his left, 2 to his right on 2nd down and 14. Final 90 seconds, quarter number 1. Leftwich, good protection, thought about it, now drops back, still on his feet, and eventually is taken down at the 15. He showed you a lot of strength there. Purnell Griffin was there, John Williams Robinson was there to finish him off. It'll be a loss of 10 on the play.
Now, this is one of those plays, Steve, despite the fact that it was negative yardage and not a good thing for Marshall, this is where pro scouts are impressed. Look at how strong he is. Shakes off 2 defensive tackles. Maybe it's 3. Shakes them off again, spins out, takes one more shot at him, and Williams, of course, makes him pay the price. But I'm telling you right now, the pro scouts are impressed with this young man's toughness, his ability to stand in the pocket and take hit after hit.
3rd down and 24. Fakes to his left, he'll throw the screen to his right. And it's Darius Watt, gain of 3 on the play. Watt's the big speed guy. They want to get him the ball, but not much there. Pernell Griffin made the stop, his 5th tackle already.
A very impressive. Pernell Griffin, number 47, is outstanding. 6'1", 254 pounds, averaging 14 tackles per game. He is terrific. And when I asked as to whether or not he could play at the next level, I asked Tim Rose, could he play on Sundays? He said, well, we're a little bit concerned about his speed. And I mentioned to him the fact, I said, well, wait a minute, you know what? I've seen a lot of guys play inside backer when they're running 5 flats. I said, the thing is between the tight ends, can you go and get people? And I think Griffin can do just that.
East Carolina will use a timeout with 14 seconds left in the 1st quarter. Marshall's last game started well, the MAC championship game against Toledo. They had a 23-0 lead. And then it all went the other way. Toledo able to turn it around, beat Marshall 41-36. Leftwich had a chance at the end to win it, but was incomplete on a pass he was really bothered by. His teammates all came over and told him it was okay, but that was a pass he thought he had to make. I think Marshall, obviously, after having the 23-0 lead, certainly surprised and disappointed. Left a bad taste in their mouth. You wonder if it's had any carryover effect into this game. Art Brown flips, able to stay on his feet, trying to return the punt down to the 39-yard line with 5 seconds left. A 43-yard punt there. That was Marshall's last action. As we document, East Carolina didn't exactly come in hot either. Lost their final 2 games at home, blowing double-digit leads themselves.
Steve, this isn't what Marshall wanted, clearly. After the defense gave them a 3 and out, and they had, as you pointed out, their best field position. Instead, they went backwards 10 yards. Not good.
This figures to be the final play of the 1st quarter. Marshall can't wait for this 1st quarter to be history. Here's Garrard. Under pressure. And Garrard showing his strength, staying up as well. And he won't let him bring him down. Kelvin Smith hung him up. It's a loss of 8.
And here's the reason for the fisticuffs. I'm telling you right now, Steve, if you're a defensive lineman and they have to stop it when you have the guy in the grasp and can't get him down, that's embarrassing. I'm telling you as a defensive lineman. A little bit of your machismo is lost as a result of that. We have some studs at quarterback tonight.
Tough 1st quarter for the record setter, Byron Leftwich. Turnovers have plagued them. East Carolina up big after 1.
Mobile, Alabama, East Carolina, 21-0 lead. Joined on the sidelines live by Coach Bob Pruitt of Marshall. What are you telling your guys to keep them in this game down by 3 touchdowns already, Bob?
Well, we've got reversed it. I talk to them all the time. It's going to strike in every game. We just got to hang together and make plays.
Shocked by the defensive intensity of East Carolina with 2 defensive touchdowns?
Well, you know, that's what happens sometimes when you make bad plays. We're going to have to run the football some here. Keep their dropping 8 so we don't have many holes to throw the ball in.
Thanks for taking time.
All right, Dave. Certainly, we appreciate Bob Pruitt taking time in game. That live interview. Here's Gerard. Kept it himself on the option. That'll go for a loss of 2 on the play. That'll get the Marshall defense fired up, led by Chris Crocker, who's had a strong game, along with Max Yates. And we look back at ESPN's exclusive game track from quarter number 1.
Well, it's been all about the turnovers, Steve. 3 turnovers, 2 of the interceptions, and really you could argue that neither interception was necessarily Leftwich's fault, but that's the way it is in the quarterback. Too much glory and too much blame. Of course, the one time they did get a drive together, Gerard on the option, back-to-back plays, makes 2 very good decisions, the second one culminating in a touchdown.
Here's Gerard. Here comes the blitz, able to dump it off. They set it up, and Art Brown, and now they're going to say no catch. that Brown did not hang on, an incomplete pass.
And maybe that's just as well, Steve, because if he did catch the ball, it's about a 7-yard loss. Marshall was in the exact right spot for that particular screen. Usually when you blitz, it's a bad decision, but they're right there in man coverage. You saw the ball come out, and as I say, that's just as well. That would have been about a 7-yard loss. And back-to-back series here, the Marshall defense has been pretty impressive.
Yancey Satterwhite came on the blitz there, forcing him to rush things. 4th and 19. And East Carolina is set to punt it away. Jared Preston. And again, looks like we have a scoreboard issue.
Steve, Bob Pruitt mentioned the fact that they needed to run the ball. We mentioned that Wallace has 5.2 yards to carry and 9 touchdowns, a little over 800 yards rushing. In this game so far, 4 carries for 39 yards. You know, that's a pretty good average, so why not give him a shot?
Now we're set to go. Josh Davis back to return. Low spiraling punt. Davis runs up to the 35 and able to get out to the 40-yard line. Brandon Howard made the special team stop. A 35-yard punt by Jared Preston.
And again, this is the best field position now for Marshall to start. And start over they need to do.
Back to Bob Pruitt. He told us during the week, he said, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want.
That's a great line.
It's a great line, right? I mean, they experienced that first quarter, I would say. Down 21-0. They didn't get anything they wanted there, and now they work up the second quarter.
Reminded me of a philosopher once said that experience is a home given the ball.
Hand off to Wallace. Purnell Griffin, the stop.
Something a little more misdirection than that, and once again I can see why Griffin gets all those tackles.
There you see the Marshall offense tonight. This explosive Marshall offense, not so explosive to this point.
And of course, if you're at home looking at him smiling during the interview, that's the smile of a man who, by the way, is 68-11. So, I mean, that guy's pushed a lot of the right buttons while they're in Huntington, West Virginia.
And he likes Dave a lot. Dave is friendly. Sideline pass, incomplete, looking for Darius Watts, the intended target. Another one of Pruitt's big statements that we play for championships, and it's what Marshall calls championship games, like the conference championship game or a bowl game they consider a championship game, and 16 of those, Bob Pruitt's Marshall team has won 14. Find themselves down in, again, what they would call a championship game here tonight, down 21-0, staring at 3rd and 11. Here's Leftwich now, with time, throws, Watts wide open. It's an incomplete pass. Watts, the speedster, goes 0 to 60 in no time at all.
East Carolina, Steve, East Carolina's doing exactly what they said, 1, 2, 3. They're only rushing 3 people, having 8 in coverage. And what that means then is it tests Leftwich to find the little seams downfield. He was able to find the seam downfield in that case, but Watts unable to come over the catch.
Curtis Head, he's the kicker and punter for Marshall. Drops the snap, and now just tries to kick it away.
That's
he's fortunate to get it that far.
That's a great play. I know that you're saying to yourself, it's not a great play. What a numbskull by dropping the ball. So many times you're going to see a punter drop the ball and panic and try and run. Instead, in this case, he says, you know what, if I run, I'm going to get whacked. I'm going to kick the thing left-footed, get it off, even though it's only a 14-yard punt downfield. Means it force. The snap is perfect, but Curtis Head just can't come up with it. And whoop, 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 whoop. He does a nice job, as I pointed out. And, of course, you're saying at home, how come that wasn't roughing the punter? Well, of course, once the ball is muffed, he is a runner, and you can go after him. And that's exactly what Antoine Yelverton did.
Curtis Head's grandfather, Elmo, played basketball at Kentucky. Right off front. How about that family tie? On 1st down and 10. Here's Garrard. Handing off to Leonard Henry. Trying the right sideline. Cross midfield. Inside the 45 after the gain of 11. This is the GMAC Bowl from hospitable Mobile, Alabama. 25th ranked Marshall taking on East Carolina. A couple of explosive offenses. You know, we really haven't seen the explosive offense out of East Carolina either, despite the fact they have 21 points.
Well, watch number 22, and I say for this reason. Steve, you realize that over 1,400 yards this guy has had. His biggest carry game has been 26. He's averaged less than 20 carries per game. The guy's averaging almost 80 yards a carry. God.
5 carries for 22 yards so far today. And on the option there, Terrence Copper out to the 41-yard line. Talking about the lack of the explosive offense, 2 of the 3 touchdowns for East Carolina have been defensive touchdowns, and Garrard just 28 yards of total offense to this point, and again, he's up 21-0.
Well, you know how you want to promote those games, Steve, where you have the irresistible force and the immovable object?
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Yeah, but yet in this case, the offense for Marshall, the defense for East Carolina is weakest at that point with his pass, and vice versa. East Carolina's great running the ball, and run defense has been so poor.
Arnie Powell was in motion. Phoenix Evans might have jumped the left tackle, who was the backup for Brian Rimp. We'll see.
Ryan snap, ball start, offense, 5 yards, still second down.
William Lamonier, the referee out of the Big Ten, a Big Ten crew.
You know, Steve, we did talk about the fact that you've got a quarter-ton of quarterbacks in this game, 500 pounds combined. They're hanging in there despite the fact they've got people all over them. Take a look at Garrard here. He just refuses to go down, and as I said, that's why the fisticuffs ensued as we go down to Dave Ryan.
All right, we'll watch this play first. We'll finish up about Dave Garrard and some weight issues, Steve.
Wow. Arnie Powell is the receiver, and he was crushed. We heard the good pop in the booth. Dave, you probably heard it a lot better on the field.
Yeah, no question here on the sideline. So Garrard's listed at 6'1", 249. When he was a senior in high school, he worked as a pizza delivery guy. Only one problem. His boss let David make the pizzas. He prepared one for his customer and one for himself. He ate so much pizza, he ballooned up to 270 pounds when he got to campus in Greenville. Much more disciplined diet now, down to that svelte 249.
That's great, Dave. Thanks. Here's Garrard getting it out, and wide open is Richard Alston. All sorts of running room. Cuts up the middle now, and he's inside the 10-yard line. Hartley finally brought him down after the gain of 32, and I do mean wide open.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there was a defensive breakdown. Take a look at the blitzes. The blitzes are going to come, and all of a sudden here, there's nobody on him. If you're going to blitz, somebody has to come over and take. The cornerback comes. Look at him come out of the backfield. There's nobody left. Absolutely nobody. Terrible job on the part of the defense for Marshall, but up to this point, Steve, had playing particularly, had actually been playing well.
First down and goal for East Carolina. Garrard will keep it on the option and pick up 2 on the play. Marion Hicks brought him down.
That was not the right time for a mental breakdown on the part of the secondary for Marshall. We mentioned the fact that Garrard was going to run the option. Steve, I think at this point, with 10.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, he's run it at least a half dozen times, so clearly that was an integral part of their arsenal.
Second and goal. Lots of room to the right side for Garrard, but he hands it off as they try the left side with Leonard Henry. No gain on the play.
Marshall really needs to force a field goal attempt here, Steve.
East Carolina, brilliant inside the red zone in terms of points. Look at that, 37 to 38. Interesting to note, the one time they didn't get points in the red zone, they did it themselves. They let the clock run out in a blowout win over Army. Otherwise, they would have been perfect. 3 tight ends here on 3rd down and goal from the 7. And Garrard on the option, waiting for the last second, pitches to Richard Alston. He's knocked out of bounds, loss of 1 on the play. Yancey Satterwhite made the hit. So we'll get a field goal look from East Carolina.
Well, clearly at this point, Marshall is not fooled anymore by this particular play. Look at the support from the secondary. Can't decide, and at the last minute he throws it, but there are a number of white shirts back there, and of course they did exactly what we talked about they needed to do, and that is force a field goal attempt.
Kevin Miller on to attempt a 25-yard field goal. He's hit his last 7 in a row. Marshall got a pretty good push there, but not a problem for Miller, who is good from 25. 9 9:04 to play in the first half. It's all East Carolina in this party-like atmosphere here in Mobile, but not for Marshall.
Texas, Washington, the Culligan Holiday Bowl, Friday, December 28th on ESPN.
We are back here at the GMAC Bowl, Mobile, Alabama. It is all East Carolina 20-0. Every once in a while, working at ESPN, we're presented with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For us last night, it was getting to ride in the GMAC Bowl Mardi Gras Parade. The streets of Mobile were packed. They tell us 60,000 people on hand, most of whom want us to throw them some seeds. Christensen out there, Steve Levy, our director, John McDonough, our producer, Tim Belton as well. And guys, see some of the beads. You got the light-up beads here. What do you think? And quite an honor for us to ride same car, Steve Levy. What a deal.
Dave, what'd you have to do for those beads? That's what we want to know.
Nothing special at all. We're giving them.
Well, we certainly appreciated just being included in a parade. We wondered aloud, hey, should we do something like this? And we might never ever get the opportunity to ride in a parade again.
You had pointed that out. It was once in a lifetime.
And you actually agreed.
Yeah, no. I was thinking to myself that I'd won a Super Bowl, but I didn't get a chance to be a part of the parade because I was out of town.
Marshall returning the kick. Able to move out to the 41 and out to the 42-yard line. An 18-yard return.
Todd Buck, nice job.
Will take over. And I would think in your history as a superstar athlete at all levels, Todd, you would have at some point been invited to ride in a parade.
Oh, listen to you, Mr. Sports Center. What about you, for goodness sakes? But it didn't happen. It's like Will Rogers said, there are those that are in the parade, and there have to be some that sit on the sidelines and watch. And I guess I'm one of those people that sat on the sidelines and watch. What can I tell you?
How's your arm feeling after tossing those beads up to the second story there?
To be honest with you, my elbow's a little sore.
On first down and 10, the GMAC folks have done a tremendous effort here, and we certainly appreciate all their hospitality, and including ESPN and the events leading up to this game. And Leftwich's throw, that one was on the money. And it was on to Earl Marriott. What a flat-out drop from here.
That's safe to say. And again, echoing the point that we had earlier, and that is that everything seems to be going on for Marshall. Get the coverage they want, sits down in the zone, the dead spot, ball's right on the money, he drops it.
Brings up a second down and 10. Tellus Leftwich, the undisputed leader of Marshall. Even last year, he was the undisputed leader, even as a sophomore. And that leadership goes with the quarterback position, I understand, but not necessarily for a sophomore system. The kind of guy he is. Leftwich gets on top and throws and completes to Marriott down to the 40-yard line, 17-yard game. Hey, when Kevin Miller kicked that field goal for East Carolina, yeah, you think it's just another field goal, put them up 24-0, but it was significant. That was only the 8th field goal attempt in this 3-year bowl history. The previous 7, 4 missed, 3 were blocked. What are the odds? That was the first ever field goal made in the 3-year history of this bowl here in Mobile. I knew that off the top of my head, John. Get some help on that.
Your nose just hit me in the eye.
Particular point of information. And you see the zeros on the play clock. They get the timeout call in time. And looks like they did. Marshall plays beat the clock. With 8:14 left in the first half. Dolphins, Carolina.
Somewhere out there, your team taking the court. And you can be there coast to coast. Jeff Strong against Phillip Rivers and the Wolfpack. NC State, Pittsburgh, the Visit Florida Tangerine Bowl. 7:30 tomorrow on ESPN. Starting Friday, a marathon of Muhammad Ali, including real classics uncut, a behind-the-scenes look at Will Smith and the making of Ali the movie. 25 hours of Muhammad Ali starts 8 p.m. Friday, only on ESPN Classic. ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the 2001 GMAC Bowl is brought to you by Dremel. Dremel.com can help you with lots of projects, even finding the perfect holiday gift. Dremel. And by Red Zone from Old Spice. Intense protection for intense people.
Tim Rose, the defensive coordinator for East Carolina, has been outstanding throughout his career, and always a great interview for us. Impressive not only with his animation, but his candor. And I thought it interesting as you take a look at his resume. When we asked him the question about Pernell Griffin, you know, if he was the best linebacker, he said, well, you know, when I was coaching at St. Augustine's back in '67, he was talking about some kid in high school. Just like a great coach, he knew about the kid in detail. Great guy. And by the way, I worked out with his 2 kids at the Y, his 2 sons.
Who was putting up more weight, them or you?
Come on. Get out of here.
They were, right?
Nah.
Marriott on the reception. Gain of 4 on that play. You know, you mentioned Rose talking about Griffin and what he said about him with all the players he has coached. He said Griffin is the best instinctive football player he's ever been around. I mean, what a statement that is.
That's high praise. That's high praise because at the end of the day, if you're playing middle linebacker, that is what it's about. It's not about how much you bench and what you run the 40 in. Do you make tackles? Do you plug holes? Do you make the people around you better? And he does.
2nd down and 6. It's Denero again. Denero Marriott on the reception, gain of 2. Marriott has certainly benefited by the fact that Darius Watts and Josh Davis have put up such great numbers that most of the defensive coverage might go to those 2, leaving Marriott free to make his catch.
And he has really come on late in the season, of course, as you pointed out in the game against Toledo. He did drop one earlier, but one great thing about this offense is you will get another shot at it if you do drop one.
Especially when you're down 24-0. This is 3rd down and 5 now. 5 receivers in. 3 to the left of Byron Leftwich.
Coming with the blitz.
Here they come, feels the pressure, and throws, and Watts could not hang on. Had good coverage on the play from Jerome Stewart, but it looked like Watts could have had that one.
Well, see, this is going to be 4-down territory here at the 35-yard line, I'm guessing, and you're right. Watts really needed to catch that ball. Leftwich has been betrayed a lot of times by his receivers here in the first half, Steve, not just on the drop balls, but on some poorly run routes, and, of course, the ricochet early on off of Marriott's arm, which, you know, started this downfall.
4th and 5 and going for it. 12 of 20 during the regular season for Marshall on 4th down conversions. They do not blitz. They rush to 3. And that's why Leftwich has all sorts of time to survey the field. And by Watts for the touchdown. Darius Watts, the leader in the nation among receivers and touchdown catches, will add to it. A 35-yarder from Byron Leftwich, and Marshall is on the board.
Jerome Stewart in coverage just let him get behind it because usually, Steve, in that situation where you just have to get a 1st down, usually what you do is you're going to hover over the 5, 6, 8-yard area. They're in a pretty good coverage up to that point, but right there he breaks down a little bit. Watts goes long. Trust the great arm of number 7.
They're going for 2. It's Shrod Buggs, and he gets there. On the 2-point conversion for Marshall.
Well, that shocked the heck out of me for this reason. 6:35 remaining in that half. Seems a little early to go for 2, but evidently Pruitt decided, you know what? We've got it going. Let's see if we can get a little more momentum, and psychologically, that has to bode well for the Thundering Herd because this is the best news, or really the only piece of good news they've had here in the first half. Take a look. Everybody's anticipating. It's the old swinging gate. Laterals the ball, has his people on the side, breaks the tackle in the backfield, and Buggs breaks 2 or 3 tackles and gets in for the 2-point conversion. And now, as a result of that 2-point conversion, they're 2 scores away.
John D. Rocker.
Special teams have struggled. We know the offense has been very poor, but really, I don't think the defense has played that poorly. 2 defensive touchdowns, and the 2 scores that they got were a result of terrific field position. So, really, the best part of the game right now for Marshall is the defense. I think you should kick it deep.
Marvin Towns is deep for East Carolina. All-Conference USA freshman team as a kick returner. But he won't get a chance this time around. Let's go down to Dave Ryan.
Okay, we're joined by John Finnegan. He's the chairman of GMAC. 3rd year your organization's been involved with this bowl game. How has it progressed from year 1 to year 3?
Well, Dave, the great thing is we were able to get in on the ground floor of this game. It's expanded every year. The city of Mobile is so enthusiastic. And this year we're really to sponsor the game. So it's been terrific. I mean, we've grown with the bowl, and the bowl is a great event.
How have several youth programs in this area been connected to your bowl game?
Well, the great thing about the event is that the byproduct of it is all the bowl does for youth, inner city youth. First, they have the Camp Focus for fatherless children. They have a great reading program. They have great corporate scholarship program sponsors. So it's terrific overall. It's a win-win for everyone involved.
Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Dave, thanks.
All right, Dave, thanks. Gerard was airing it out for Richard Alston, and soft flag on the play.
And if Crocker somehow could have looked back soon enough, he knows that he's beat to the post. But Gerard threw the kind of pop-up that you used to have when you were playing 500 at home. Remember that when you used to catch the ball, try to, there are two penalties. There's going to be holding and interference, and of course they'll take the latter because that's going to be 15 yards. But Crocker didn't know that. I don't know if the wind caught it or maybe it slipped out of his hand, but that was one of those that at home his buddies would be going quack, quack, quack.
Defensive pass interference, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Here's Crocker with his back turned. Now the ball is up in the air, and he's not sure. And so rather than let him have a big gain, he pulls on the shoulder. You know what? And you say to yourself, that's blatant, but it's only 15 yards instead of the 40-yard yards that it would have been. Stanford reverse.
And it's Richard Alston with running room. Cross the 45, gets a nice block to the 40. Down to the 30, that's showing you the wheels down the sideline. And he is dragged down at the 7-yard line by Terrence Hartley. Alston can motor. Gain of 58 on the play.
Well, it's a great job of this, Steve. They've been running the option forever. Now the receiver's going to come around and get the pitch. Now watch at the bottom of your screen and tell me if you think this might be holding. They're able to get away with one here. But it's a great call. Great call. Watch the defender right here. Looks like he's got a hold of some... But as they say, as Ray Chester used to tell me, you get away with it, it's a good play. And as you pointed out, Alston's got some wheels.
First and goal from the 7 now. East Carolina looking to add to their lead. Leonard Henry, making it look easy. Gerard went in untouched earlier. There's Henry standing up with a 7-yard touchdown right through the Marshall defense.
And remember inside the 20 early on, we talked about how with that, they kept running the option over and over again, and what did it do? Now they have the misdirection, and look at the shirts. Look at this. I dare say that Steve Levy could score on. Well, all right, even tackled the 2, but still, that was a really big hole. And Henry marches in completely himself.
Here is Kevin Miller on the extra point. Puts it through. They go 2 plays, 80 yards for the touchdown. For Leonard Henry, his 17th rushing touchdown of the season.
Give credit where credit's due, Steve. Doug White, Corey Schmidt, and Brandon Pope are the ones that create that cavern, that veritable chasm for Henry to run through. But again, it is set up, and we mentioned earlier, Steve, it appeared that Marshall had finally figured out the option, right? They finally figured it out. Key word stuffing it. And the one time they go with the reverse, it's a huge play. Also had a couple of big plays.
Dave talked to the GMAC people here. Ranked teams are not going to want to come back to this bowl. When its first year, East Carolina was actually ranked number 20. They lost to TCU. Last year, TCU came here. They were ranked 13th. They lost to Southern Miss. Here, Marshall comes in ranked 25th, and they find themselves trailing 31-8 with 6 minutes left in the first half. Wonder if Dave can talk with Bob Pruitt again. I'd like to hear what he has to say now.
I don't think he will. What can he?
One and done, huh?
Yeah.
Kevin Miller has been active. His extra points and field goal, and now kicks it away. Very, very short kick. That bounces at the 20-yard line. Curtis Jones had all sorts of problems with it. Loose football, and East Carolina has it. What else can go wrong tonight for Marshall?
Well, see, Kevin Miller up to this point, Steve, has been kicking nothing but touchbacks. So finally, you're a little bit deeper than you normally are, and as a result, you're lulled to sleep. You don't think you're going to get an opportunity, but this is a poor job by Jones. Okay, now on the hop, just catch it. Just catch it. Just catch it in your breadbasket. Now he's looking downfield. He's concerned about getting hit, and the result is that Heath is able to get on top of the ball before Jones can recover. Once again, everything going the way of the Pirates. And of course, the kicker says, yeah, okay, I didn't get the touchback, but we did get a turnover.
Here's Gerard off play action. The option pitch to the right side. And it's Richard Alston. Stay on his feet as long as he can. Very close to another first down. Travis Heath able to recover on that fumbled kickoff.
Steve, inevitably, when you match up teams from different conferences, unless, you know, it's, say, the Big 12 or it's the Pac-10 or teams that you know, sometimes when you get together, you're really not sure about the level of competition. Clearly, in this case, it would seem the Conference USA has put together a little bit more of a tougher group, and I say that only because of what I'm seeing on the field. That's not to denigrate those in the MAC. It's simply the fact that at this point it seems that East Carolina has had a tougher road to hoe with some of those teams.
That was Leonard Henry, the ball carrier. As you look at the bowl breakdown by conference, there's the Conference USA sending 4, the MAC sending 2.
Now, this is not an exact science by any stretch, but clearly at this point, I'm sure that the people in Conference USA are saying to themselves,
we were wondering about North Texas.
North Texas
Sun Belt. They're the one team. On first and goal now. Here's Gerard going to keep it, and again, this time at least he was tough, but it made it look relatively easy. A 6-yard touchdown for East Carolina. Second rushing touchdown of the night for David Gerard, and it's all Pirates.
Well, it's a good thing that Dave Ryan and I got together and predicted that East Carolina have 38 points before halftime. You can't predict now in college football. I don't think you can. I think parity is such a reality. Sometimes the information you get on paper is useless. Who'd have figured
Miller puts it through. You couldn't. 14 points in a minute 13 for East Carolina. We documented earlier their quick strike offense. Short scoring drives, not taking much time off the clock. And here they are blowing out the Thundering Herd 38-8. The Saturn Light Ship is providing us with these magnificent aerial views of Lad People Stadium and Mobile, Alabama tonight. Saturn is proud to provide its view as the official vehicle of the 2001 GMAC Bowl. And the view right now from Marshall, rather ugly.
It'd be all uphill. A lot of push-ups for those people.
They'll be in great shape for this one.
If they're doing it every point. Boy, oh boy.
You mentioned the conferences. It's worth pointing out, and Marshall, talk about going untouched. They went 8-0 in the conference this season. East Carolina went 5-2 in Conference USA. Actually started 5-0 in their conference. We're dropping their final 2 games. Berto Terrell is back at the 5-yard line. And Terrell won't get to the 20. Dropped at the 17-yard line. 4:36 to go here in the first half. Here in Mobile, Alabama, put some south in your mouth. And we have been treated here to some of the delicacies of Mobile, Alabama. And quite frankly, we sampled quite a bit of it last night, and there's more, Todd.
Oh, this is just a prop. It's not real or anything.
Prop? Where's the cocktail sauce?
I want my wife and children at home to know that I've been very strict on my diet. I haven't gone off too far, honest.
Yeah, you should have seen him. The pie he put down last night.
No, come on, don't say that.
No, actually, that was Tim Belton, the producer, the pie down last night. 4.5 to go. Cocktail. Todd will be speechless for the next few moments.
They have those here? All right, halftime. Here I come.
All sorts of delicacies. And a funnel cake. What's a bowl game without a funnel cake?
Boy, I tell you what, that etouffee and jambalaya, wow.
Good eats here in Marshall, Leftwich, firing. And when he cocks the football, you see the speed, the thumb that he has. And one fired it in there.
We've talked about his numbers. There's another one that's particularly impressive that we didn't bring up. And that is on the season, Steve, his completion percentage is 67%, which when you think the number of throws that he has is really outstanding.
And the touchdown to interception ratio, 38-7. He's been picked off already twice here today. Here's Franklin Wallace on the screen play, and that works nicely right across the midfield. Gain of 15 on the play.
Well, they need to integrate Wallace into the offense, and with 3:45 remaining in the first half, it might not be the time to run the ball, but getting the ball out in the open space, he is their best open field runner.
And there's a flag down. 3:45 left in this half. East Carolina by 30.
This isn't a sideline warning, is it?
Dead ball, personal foul against Marshall. Dead ball, personal foul against East Carolina. Those penalties offset. We go to the next down. First down.
You might be able to hear the cannons in the background every time East Carolina scores. Dave is with the Cannon people.
We're the Cannon people, Steve. J.P. Thompson from East Carolina's ROTC is with us. How many, I guess you want to say, they are blanks, right? Nothing's really being fired here.
All we're shooting out of the cannon itself is black powder, and it's got a couple of pieces of paper as a charge. It's ignited with a shotgun primer right here, and just a fine pin hits it and goes off. Nothing actually goes out except for a little bit of smoke, and that's it.
JP, did you bring enough of the gunpowder to make sure it's going to cover 38 points? At least it could be even more in the second half.
We've got about probably 10 or 15 more shells that we haven't fired off yet. We've got 2 more complete containers of black powder, so we've got plenty.
So you're ready just in case we get even more points here.
And if we have to, we'll run to the store real quick and try to get more.
Even Todd, be very thankful you're not right next to this cannon. It may be small in stature, but it's extremely loud when it goes off.
I was going to say, check your hearing, Dave. You're getting too close to that. They should hold off on the ammunition. I don't think they should waste it on field goals. They might have a lot of touchdowns still. That ball is popped in the air, and Brandon Carey tipped it to himself and was able to hang on. And he was pushed out inside the 30, gain of 19 on the play.
Great call by Leftwich. He catches him in a blitz, and as a result, Carey the beneficiary of it down the middle of the field. Take a look. Here they come. Here they come with 5. Very rare. Here he comes to the side. Almost doesn't catch it. Hits him in the face. Fortunately, it's a pop-up. He gets great blocks downfield, and that assists him in the 19-yard gain.
Todd, just a thought. Up 30, blitzing at this point, and you think you'd want to lay back maybe a little softer?
No, you don't want to be predictable, because then you rush through, keep coming back in 8. You saw what they did that last time. He threw over the top, and of course, while Dave was doing his interview, they had another chance to throw over the top, but he threw a little bit too far. Otherwise, they had an easy score.
Leftwich is going for Curtis Jones. Leftwich fumbles that snap. And as he tried to pick it up and run with it, they're going to say he was down once he recovered the fumble, I believe.
I believe his right knee was down when he picked it up. And that's what the official saw, and he sprinted up. Take a look and watch his right knee for yourself and see. Yep, or the left knee, excuse me. Yeah, he was definitely down. Good call.
Marshall just one rush of their last 14 play selection, as you would expect anyway, but especially count 30 with this one-back offense. Second down and 15. Leftwich pump, now throws, and able to complete has been Aaron Marriott. Travis Heath made the stop, gain of 16.
I would think that at this point, Steve, as we take a look at Steve Logan, who's got to be the happiest man in the stadium, despite the fact that he doesn't have a grin on his face. Marshall needs to get in the end zone. Steve Logan, not unlike his counterpart, Bob Pruitt, has done a great job with this program. We visited with him over the fact that, they've always had a chip on their shoulder, but now they've begun to run. They've had to place in the role of favorite. But this run will come back as a result of holding.
He said the program really has to adjust to success, he said, because now the only homecoming we play is our own. And that's kind of a neat statement. Instead of being everybody else's homecoming.
I'm sorry I laugh because you know what I'm getting
Yes,
at.
I do. Here comes the band story.
Here comes my Nate Odom
Give it to me.
story. My Nate Odom story, my buddy. Former Buffalo Bill cornerback. telling me about his days at Wisconsin, where he said that in those days in the late 80s, they were so bad. He said in 1 year they had 7 homecoming games, including their own. That makes me laugh every time I tell it. I'm sorry. They've done it for those of you who have been paying attention.
And everybody getting off the bus?
Right. Oh, the band, right.
Maybe we didn't tell it that well, but it was funny to us. And little set up a little screen to Brandon Carey for no gain. We sent it down to Dave Wright.
As you guys were talking about Marshall, when they first hired head coach Bob Pruitt, 1996, he knew the Herd would be upgrading the program from 1AA to 1A. With that in mind, he looked at other programs. Similar enrollment located in the South to model his program after. His choices were Southern Miss and, believe it or not, East Carolina. After 5 years of 1A football, Marshall has 4 MAC titles, 4 Motor City Bowl appearances, 3 of those bowl wins. Right now, the team they're modeling themselves after is giving them a licking, guys.
Right, Dave. Leftwich throwing across the middle, dropped by Marriott. His second drop tonight. Marshall had played in 4 consecutive Motor City Bowls, winning the last 3 of them. And so far, Detroit much kinder to them, or Pontiac, Michigan, much kinder than Mobile.
You mentioned this is the second of 25 bowl games, Steve. It's interesting how some people respond. I mean, clearly East Carolina is fired up and ready to go. And for whatever reason here in the first half, it's almost as if you see the head coach screaming for a timeout.
He won't get it.
Leftwich doesn't see it, he can't hear it.
Now he gets some help. And Marshall will use their second timeout of the half.
The point I was trying to make is that clearly, you know, sometimes with the layoff, you never know what's going to happen. And that's why I think people at home should pay attention to some of the bigger bowls, because you think about it, Steve, in the Rose Bowl, both Miami and Nebraska, think about that, almost 6 weeks between football games. I mean, that's a long time. And here, it's been a lot less. But you can certainly see the rust, particularly on the part of the Marshall Thundering Herd.
Minute 27 left here in the first half. It is not a surprise that East Carolina is winning. It is a surprise that they're winning by 30 points, and we haven't hit halftime yet. 25th ranked Marshall being handled so far by the Pirates. There's more great college football coming up for you on Friday, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, over on ESPN. Check out Division I AA. You want a playoff system? They've got it. The championship game between Furman and Montana. College football on ESPN. 3rd and 19. Marshall came in 49% on 3rd down conversions. They're 2 of 6 so far tonight. I'm sure that 49% didn't come on 3rd and 19 all the time. There's Leftwich with time, throwing, completing well shy of the first down. Curtis Jones on the receiving end. And I'll bring up a 4th down and 4-down territory.
Certainly are. You noticed that Leftwich was already talking to the receivers. He didn't even debate as to whether or not that they were going to. He didn't look to the sidelines at any possibility of a field goal.
14-yard gain. Bring up a 4th down and 6 now. Final minute, first half. Marshall has 1 timeout left in this half. They go 5 receivers. Leftwich out of the shotgun. 3 receivers to his right, bottom of this screen. The receiver straining to hear his signal. With Leftwich, a quick throw and complete to Darius Watts. And I don't think he got there.
It's a great tackle. Great tackle on the part of Stewart, who comes across, does not allow him to get his momentum across the 10-yard line. And the result is going to be a first down by East Carolina. They come with the blitz. Take a look. Here comes Williamson. And, of course, you know what the blitz pickup is. That means you're hot, and you have to cut to the outside. Watts makes the tackle, but Stewart prevents him from getting across the 10-yard line. The result is a turnover. And now East Carolina gets the ball back. And Bob Pruitt, that's about as emotional as he has been here in the first half. Very frustrated with how poorly his offense has been playing.
East Carolina will take a knee. Jerome Stewart is having himself quite a first half. He had a 43-yard fumble return for a touchdown, had an interception, and had that key tackle there to force the turnover on downs. Coming up on our College Game Day halftime report, Lou Holtz and Notre Dame in the same sentence. We'll get a preview of the Tangerine Bowl
And there's some news. Brock Breland.
I wanted to tell you something. I played in one of the first Tangerine Bowls, honest. After the 1976 season, I played in the Tangerine Bowl against Oklahoma State.
And you played on this field here as well.
I
So
did
what,
indeed.
35 or 40 years?
Thanks.
Let's go. Okay. Halftime here. And it is all East Carolina. Again, not a surprise that they're winning, but Chris Fowler, that they're winning by 30. We'll see you on this other side.
Yeah, Steve, and that Marshall is losing.
And the head coach of East Carolina, when you look at the score, and say, well, that was a pretty good time to do it. And earlier, Dave Ryan did.
First half, Steve Logan, a complete domination of Marshall. Well, we've done this all year long, and what we got to do now is go play 2 more quarters of football, which we haven't done all year long. So we're going to have to finish this thing. 2 defensive touchdowns, as big as it can get, but it's all about finishing now. This team is not finished, so that's going to be our focus in the second half. See if we can turn the heat up about 2 degrees. Good luck in the second half.
All right, Dave. And head coach Steve Logan, thanks very much. Steve Levy alongside Todd Christensen. And that's been a focal point throughout the season for East Carolina. They've had big leads. Even he said dismantle teams early, have to hang on. Cincinnati game was a good example of that. But is that realistic now that they're going to have a problem with a 30-point lead in the second half?
Well, again, it's going to be a situation where Leftwich is going to have to fade back and throw almost every down. And, of course, what we had talked about their defense getting tired, I don't think that's going to be an issue. But what has to happen for Marshall defense in particular, especially on this first time, because, remember, Marshall has to kick off. That's an issue, I think, and that is that they're going to have to play a lot better defense here in the second half, and Leftwich just has to get really, really hot.
I thought Leftwich did fade back and throw every down in the first half, so it wouldn't be much of a change.
No, I guess not. Threw the ball 31 times. Yeah, good point.
And there's something on the lines of what we're talking about. The Cincinnati one is the one that stands out again, just owning the first quarter, dismantling teams really in the first half, and then, for whatever reason, having to hang on. And we'll see if that comes into play here tonight as we open up the second half. East Carolina will get the ball with Marvin Towns. He'll take a knee. 1st and 10 from the 20. 30-point lead and the football. We look back, ESPN's exclusive game track. Turnovers a problem for East Carolina coming in, but they were a problem in the first half for Marshall.
Well, that just really set the tone. You know, the 2 defensive turnovers, not just turnovers, but they turned into touchdowns right away. And they've never looked back after being up 14-0. You can see the numbers the Leftwich has put up, but they're not a big deal. On the other side, East Carolina has been able to run the ball nearly at will, particularly there in the second half of the second quarter.
And Garrard on first down will hand off Leonard Henry. We had a rushing touchdown earlier. Terrence Tarpley making the stop after the gain of 6.
Well, the quarterbacks have been under pressure, as we mentioned, all game, particularly Leftwich, especially when they rush more than 3. And every now and then, that's what they're going to do. There you see the interception. It just has not been his day. On the other hand, Garrard, yeah, you know what, he gets whacked here, but he's been so effective, Steve, in running the option and all the things that have come off the option.
And he wasn't effective there. Garrard is picked off. It's Ralph Street, the defensive playmaker for Marshall. A 26-yard interception return for a touchdown, and Marshall gets a defensive score of their own.
Don't go away, folks. This is very strange, and here's the reason I'm saying that. I'm not predicting this is what's going to happen, but I was fortunate enough and blessed, as you see, straight fade back. Just hits him right. Well, look at that. There are 4 white shirts there. I don't know what Garrard was thinking, but Street shows great athletic ability. If you can't get to the quarterback as a defensive lineman, step back and see if you can bat a pass down. In this case, Street is able to catch it, and they will go for 1 here.
Curtis Head on to attempt the extra point. And Head booting through. The second play of the first half was an interception return for a touchdown. And there again it happens, 25-yard interception return.
And there's an intense look on that man's face. He wasn't kidding when he said that. When he said that to Dave Ryan, that was not just coach speak. He's not very happy with what just transpired because, I mean, that's the best thing that could have happened to Marshall coming out right there.
And those who snicker that, you know, Levy, Christensen, and Ryan are just trying to keep the audience around,
because of the problems in blowing leads. Clearly not the case.
Well, Steve, here's the situation I was about to bring up, and that is the game that I was fortunate enough to broadcast with Charlie Jones was the greatest comeback in NFL history. I did that Buffalo-Houston game when they're up 35-3, and of course that's more points than 38-8. You see the graphic there in East Carolina. Of course, they have 11 turnovers in the last 3 games. Of course, make that 12 now.
The subject of one of our many pregame debates making its way on the air, as I anticipated it would. That's 23 seconds into the second half. And it's 38-15. And Head will put it in the air. Marvin Towns won't get a chance to return this one either. Another example of East Carolina getting the lead, having problems against Cincinnati. The Pirates jumped out to a 28-3 lead. Henry at 168 yards rushing in the first quarter. But in the second half, Cincinnati cut it 2 points with 46 seconds left, and the 2-point conversion failed. And East Carolina was able to hold on for the win. They have to hang on tonight. Here's Garrard now. The option to his right, he'll keep it himself. Turns it upfield for a gain of 3 on the play. Orlando Washington made the stop.
It was interesting, a point that Steve Logan made with regards to, we were talking about Leonard Henry and how effective he was. He gave a lot of the credit for his running actually to his quarterback Garrard, saying that he could audible them into run situations that were more beneficial to Henry. And that because he had the total grasp of the offense, that benefited Henry and helped him in his 1,400-plus yards.
Henry is the single setback, but Garrard is throwing. And he skipped that one along the grass. He'll go with an incomplete pass.
I have to question Doug Martin, offensive coordinator here for East Carolina, just a little bit, Steve, and that is that not only do you not take any time off the clock, you rush for 135 yards in the first half. Why not stay with it at least a little bit? And why go back to the throw when the kid's a little bit shell-shocked after that interception? I think, stick with the ground game.
Martin pointed out earlier to us, 4 of their top 6 receivers out with injuries this season, so they had to develop a running game. And they've been successful with it, as you point out.
And here's the backside. He
didn't feel the pressure, and he's taken down Yancey Satterwhite on the sack.
Interesting, Yancey Satterwhite is their best man-for-man cover guy. That's what defensive coordinator Kevin Kelly told me. He didn't tell me that he could blitz, and boy, did he have to come a long way. Watch how far he comes. Just able to get his ankle. Great play by number 15.
Satterwhite 3 times this season was Marshall's defensive player of the game. The sack there. Jared Preston is set to punt it away from his own 5. Josh Davis is back deep.
Steve, don't forget that they are going into the wind, so Marshall should get pretty good field position. Back punt.
And it'll bounce to the 43, and it takes a fortunate bounce for East Carolina. Marshall will still take over at the 45 with great field position. It goes a 37-yard punt. Marshall will get the football, and they need points. We taped a little advancer to preview this game for ESPN. Normally we get it done in 1 take, but yesterday required 2.
Dave Garrard is the quarterback for East Carolina, but on the other half of this quarter ton is Byron Leftwich, the quarterback for Marshall, having arguably the greatest season in the history of the MAC. The first quarterback ever to throw for over 4,000 yards and with an incredible percentage of touchdown to interception. That is 38 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. They had 4 quarterbacks in New York for the Heisman, but it could be argued that this young man is the best pro prospect of any quarterback in the collegiate scene today. Now, that's the passing, and there's going to be a lot of this going on. But for more on running in East Carolina, let's go to Dave Ryan. Byron? Oh, man. Man.
Gain of 2 on that play. You know, every time we make fun of Dave's height, and we've done it a couple, I get a nasty phone call from his wife.
Almost 5'9". 5'9.5" in shoes, and that pass was too tall. I don't think Todd could have caught that. He's 6'3".
You should have laid out,
Dave,
my head. And ruined that fancy suit you were wearing yesterday.
Oh, no one could have had that ball.
Come on, where's the hop? I dived for that one, but that's me. Second down and 8. Byron was very gracious with his time. Again, only took us 2 takes. Normally we get it right the first time. Yeah, right.
He only called Dave Shorty one.
Here's Leftwich completing a beauty of a pass, and Darius truly now checks into the game. He's down to the 10-yard line. Leftwich doing what he couldn't do to Dave Ryan. Hits Watts in the numbers. 54-yard gain.
And remember, Watts was the one who struggled. Remember at the end of the first half when he dropped that slant route. This is a deep slant. What a gun. Boy, right between 3 defenders. Watts breaks the tackle and gets some yak down to the 10-yard line. Marshall has momentum on their side.
First down and goal. Leftwich from the gun. Almost had some problems that snap, and he takes off by the left side. My God. The end zone, and he gets there.
I'm telling you. You know what? Dave Ryan must have woke him up. It must have been the thing with the miss. I'm telling you. One of the things here is Franklin Wallace leads out front. He's the one that knocks Stewart out of the way. But I think, I was waiting for a delay of game. I mean, Leftwich is no speedster, but clearly the defense wasn't prepared for number 7 to have a quarterback run on his own. This is a run all the way. There's no throw. Great job by Wallace out front. He's able to fall on top of the pylon. Steve, it appears we got ourselves a ball game.
There's Curtis Head on for the extra point. And he blasts it through the upright. 12:23 to go in the third quarter. 14 points in just over 2 minutes for Marshall. And here come the Thundering Herd.
China is coming to Mobile.
Football from the sidelines. Thursday at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific on ESPN.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the 2001 GMAC Bowl is brought to you by Rolaids. R-O-L-A-I-D-S spells relief.
Two quick scores, and Marshall's right back in this GMAC Bowl with East Carolina, joined live on the sideline by Thundering Herd head coach Bob Pruitt. We understand at halftime you weren't exactly pleased with your guys. What did you tell them to light the fire on them, Bob?
Well, we just talked about making plays and adversity and not giving up. Never quit trying, never try quitting, and our guys are responding. I'm proud of them so far. Hope we can get back in it.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, David, I think they're already back in it at 38-22. A 30-point game at halftime, a 16-point game now. And another touchback, Marvin Towns in East Carolina will take over. First and 10 from their own 20. The start of the first half, very similar to the way the start of the second half, Tom.
Eerily so. I mean, it really is. Look at that, only a 10-second difference. And, of course, you know what East Carolina did in the first half. Now, whether or not Marshall can follow up after those two quick scores remains to be seen. The onus clearly now is on the shoulders of Gerard and the Pirate offense.
Again, first and 10 from their own 20. Gerard will hand it off to Leonard Henry. Try to get him going. And he is going. Gain a 9 on the play. The second effort there by Leonard Henry. 6th in the nation in rushing, averaging 7.8 yards per carry. That's third best in the nation.
Well, he's been outstanding, Steve. This is a young man who's averaged 130 yards per game. And the thing that I don't understand is I asked the coach, I said, is he small or you don't want to give him extra carries? They said they don't. He averages less than 20 per game, which is amazing for a guy that's rushed for as many yards as he has.
Henry again the ball carrier, this time for 5 yards. He was the first East Carolina running back to go over 1,000 yards, and they were well over 1,400-plus yards. But the last East Carolina back to rush for 1,000 yards in a season, Scott Harley in 96.
11 carries for 53 yards up to this point, Steve, and I'm thinking that this is the opportunity now. Hey, ride the back of number 22.
Second down and 5. We'll send Richard Alston in motion, top of the screen. And they'll do this stat. Choose that. Give it to Henry. Ralph Street to stop after a gain of 4.
Steve, now that's three straight carries in about 15 yards. That's what you have to do. And let's not forget at the top of the show something that we pointed out. The Marshall defense against the run now. 106 in the nation, giving us 218 yards per game. This is what Steve Logan, the offensive coordinator, said he had to do. Let's put the ball in the hands of number 22 and number 9 every now and then on that option.
Copper in motion this time as Garrard drops the pass. And he's throwing underneath and able to hook up with Derek Collier for a gain of 8. Collier's first catch of the afternoon. Tomorrow night, the 2001 bowl season continues. Pittsburgh certainly hopes to have Antonio Bryant in the lineup. They take on Phillip Rivers and the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. The 2001 Visit Florida Tangerine Bowl on ESPN.
Sure is a fun trip in Orlando. Lots of things to see.
Disney World. Handoff. Henry breaking tackles. And he's down to the 42-yard line. Michael Owens made the stop on a gain of 12.
Now, conversely, Kevin Kelly, the defensive coordinator for Marshall, now just has to jam people in the box. Just jam people in the box and say, okay, if Garrard can beat me one-on-one up top, he beats me. But you can't afford to let them do what they're doing here, taking time off the clock, and Henry's taking chunks of yards.
Again, it's Henry. Slow developing draw play out of the 40. That's kind of redundant. Slow developing draw play. But a draw nonetheless, gain of 1 on the play.
Alonzo Jones makes a nice tackle. I say a nice tackle because if he doesn't make the tackle, that counter tray, which has been so popular ever since the days of the Redskins and the Hogs, would have had a first down.
Second down and 8. Ball spotted at the 40. Under 10 to go here in the third quarter. We've got ourselves a ball game for Mobile. Here's Garrard off play action. Rush rolls downfield sideline. Had Alston, and he couldn't pull it down.
Had a little pressure, however. Jonathan Goddard was the man that was in his face, and he threw off the back foot and just couldn't quite get his feet planted to deliver the ball on the money. See right there, Alston goes up, but that's a little bit long for him. Still, if you're the quarterback, you're saying, boy, that would have been nice to get to come up with that one.
They're 1 for 5 on third down conversions tonight. This is third down in the tough 9. Garrard with good protection around him. Throwing down the middle of the field. It is completed to Derek Collier, who is popped as he's dropped at the 6, gain of 33. Garrard on the money there.
And Yancey Satterwhite is with him stride for stride, but Garrard makes a left-witch type throw. Watch this as he sits in the pocket. Terrific coverage. Look at that. He puts it right on the money. Satterwhite is there. He just can't quite get it, despite the hard knock, able to hold on. Huge play for the Pirates. And Alston, I believe, is the guy that's down. Excuse me, I'm wrong.
Looks like Terrence Copper is down. The sophomore from Washington, D.C. And he's limping.
Copper was the one running the underneath route. I think he got whacked a little bit.
And limping away quickly from the medical staff, wants to get off the field under his own power.
Well, this is a huge drive for the Pirates because it seemed that the momentum had turned irrevocably to the side of the Thundering Herd. Give Garrard credit. Huge third down conversion.
Double tight end set now. East Carolina. Garrard gives it to Henry, does a little stutter step. Gain of 3 on the play. Kelvin Smith brought him down.
Not only is this drive effective in terms of taking chunks of yardage, it takes some time off the clock. And you're saying, what are you talking about? There's plenty of time left in the game. The issue here is in taking time off the clock, it makes the offense kind of get comfortable on the sideline, sitting on their heels, watching the defense struggle a little bit. Psychologically, this is great for the Pirates.
Second and goal from the 5. Off play action. Corner of the end zone, and Garrard just threw that one away. Arnie Powell was in the neighborhood.
Terrence Tarpley does a great job because everybody in the park is thinking, boy, running so effectively. But on second down, they try and surprise him with a play-action fake. Number 21, Tarpley, absolutely is not fooled, and the result is that Garrard has to throw it away.
Despite suffering a preseason knee injury, Tarpley required surgery. He's still able to start 11 of 12 games this season for the Thundering Herd. This is third down and goal now. From the 5.
Option
to it. And three Marshall players swing him around, led by Chris Crocker, who's having himself a ball game.
Steve, just as you talked about Jerome Stewart playing so well in the secondary for East Carolina, on the other side of the ledger is Chris Crocker, who continues to make good plays. Watch him come up and take on the tackle. Watch him take on Gerard. Forces him to the outside. He doesn't want to pitch now because they're too close, and Crocker says, nope, not here. You're going to have to attempt a field goal.
And so Kevin Miller comes on, already hit from 25. This will be from 22. Again, he's in his last 8 in a row, and before the snap, the whistle blows.
Steve Logan wants to know what's going on, and so do we. William Lemonnier. I've waited all day. I wanted to say that.
And now you have.
Okay. He'll tell us.
How are you reading lips?
Come on. Exactly. What is it? What is this, the Marley Matlin show? Come on. Let us know. Well, he came over and Steve Logan was screaming at him. I guess the assumption is that there was something once again wrong with the clock. So
taking about the 12 seconds scoreboard clock off. Now we're reset and ready to go. And Miller from 22. We'll try it again. Low snap.
Whoa.
And Miller is able to put it through. Kevin Miller connects East Carolina tonight in the red zone. They've been so good all season. They're a perfect 5-5 when they move on their lead.
This is the tale of one lonely heart. She spent countless nights alone playing solitaire. So her friend set her up on a blind date. Well, he did have one eye. Then there was that other joker. Somehow, when it came to true love, the cards seemed stacked against her. So she called the MatchLink Singles Network. It's safe, confidential, and free to enroll. And in no time, she had a perfect match. Yes, with the MatchLink Singles Network, love was in the cards all along.
Now you can begin and end your day with Fitness Made Simple's new AM/PM workout. With fitness celebrity John Bastow. Burn fat and build muscle by exercising with John first thing in the morning and later in the evening.
The AM/PM workouts video makes it easy to incorporate short, result-producing home workouts into your daily schedule without slaving away hours in the gym.
As a busy mom with 2 children, even I can find the time to stay in great shape with John's AM/PM workouts.
Call now to order.
Game Thursday. Big-time receiver Antonio Bryant and Pittsburgh look to finish up strong against Phillip Rivers and the Wolfpack. NC State, Pittsburgh, the Visit Florida Tangerine Bowl, 7:30 tomorrow on ESPN.
Capital One Mortgage on ESPN.
Doors open.
Get the Capital One card.
Laurel, don't fumble your Capital One card, but do watch Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN.
Back in Mobile, Jeff Sander on the phone there. Long distance.
What's wrong with that picture? Santa and a cell phone. That doesn't fit.
You know what the roaming charges are for the North Pole? That must be quite expensive, unless he has that unlimited program across the United States as we welcome you back. The GMAC Bowl here in Mobile, Alabama. 41. Hey, we knew we'd have points.
Yep.
Now we're at 63 right now. These two teams during the regular season combined to average a total of 70 points per game. And they got a lot of football left.
They combined to average giving up close to 60.
Short kickoff taken by Roberto Terrell. Finds a seam to the 35 and out to the 36. So Marshall will take over. Good field position, a 20-yard return by Terrell. John Williamson. In stereo, John Williamson making the special team stop. And there you see Marshall, the last 3 opportunities with the football.
Been very effective. The one, of course, came on downs when they weren't able to convert the 4th down. So clearly at this point, I think it's safe to say that Leftwich is in his rhythm.
The 2 touchdown drives of the 3. 6 plays and 3 plays. Quick strike. Kind of like that East Carolina offense. First down and 10. Leftwich, quick hitter across the middle, and it was there. Greg Kellett, the tight end, found himself all alone in the middle of the field. That would have gone for a big gain.
And Leftwich knew it. He knew right when he threw the ball he had a little bit too much juice on it. Kellett is somebody who's done a pretty good job this year for them from the tight end position. The young man has 25 catches for 336 yards. He's averaged over 13 yards per reception. He is somebody that can help them, but right there, quarterback is just a little too long.
And he was a first-team All-MAC. But Huon Marshall was not first-team All-MAC. Why even name a team? Just name the All-MAC team the Marshall team. As that ball is completed, and a little yard after the catch for Josh Davis. Gain of 9 on the play. Marshall on offense and defense and special teams, just dominating the All-MAC teams. There you see twice as many as the next group.
One of the reasons, Steve, that we didn't see Kellett in the first half or see that play more was because they had so many of their 5 wide receiver sets.
Third and short. Leftwich, the carrier.
Do you remember Bobby Douglas, the Chicago Bears?
Sure do.
He reminds me a little bit of that on the quarterback sneak. Douglas is about 6'5", 235, 240. And at 6'6", 245, that's going to be a tough guy to stop on the sneak.
Those are some tough Chicago Bears teams, too.
Yeah. But I can say unequivocally that this kid throws a little better than Bobby Douglas did.
First down and 10. Here's Leftwich, the offensive player of the year in the MAC, and his pass a little too long for Chris Martin. Martin's got a neat hometown, if in fact I'm pronouncing it the right way. Nitro, West Virginia. Unless, of course, it's Nitro, then it's not nearly as cool sounding.
I like it.
7:03 to go here in the third quarter. East Carolina had a 30-point lead at halftime. It's 41-22 here, the GMAC Bowl in Mobile. Josh Davis got it. Krishan Gilliam makes the stop after the gain of 5.
Third down conversions, as you pointed out, they have been so effective coming into this game, nearly 50%, but not in this game. East Carolina has done a very good job. They continue to go with their 3 rush and 8 in coverage. It's been so effective. Even though Leftwich now is thrown for close to 300 yards already.
Here's third down and 4. Leftwich rolling to his right, the pocket rolling with him. Firing down the sideline, got a man, and too strong for Chris Martin.
Now Leftwich comes back in a hurry because he wants to talk them into going for it. And a fourth down on the 47-yard line. I think they're going to find it. You can see the argument. He's explaining to him, you know what, we can't give them a short field here. Let's pin them down, see if we can get 3 and out into the wind and get the ball back around midfield.
Todd, you mentioned 300-yard passing games for Marshall. They do that on a regular basis. 31 consecutive 300-yard passing games for the Thundering Herd. Chad Pennington had 19 of them. Leftwich 12 of them. Only Kentucky and Louisiana Tech have a longer streak. Those 2 schools have 39 consecutive 300-yard passing games. Curtis Head to punt it away. The high spiraling kick aiming for the corner, and he gets the end zone instead. That will be a touchback. 47-yard punt, but just a net of 27. 6:41 to go here in the third quarter. It's Carolina gets the football back.
Sunday NFL Countdown, Sunday mornings at 11 Eastern, only on ESPN.
This Christmas, Method Man and Red Man are going to Harvard. For the biggest holiday party ever.
You East Coast? I far East Coast.
Ho.
I'm from Wisconsin.
Ho.
I got the munchies like a mother.
Ho.
Wait a minute, did you just call us hoes?
I meant that in a good way.
Method Man, Red Man,
What's your name?
How High, rated R, at theaters Friday.
Hey, Edge Gel is gonna clean up your act with Edge Clean Shave Gel. Edge Clean's got a built-in facial cleanser that helps lift dirt and oil every time you lather. To help lift dirt and oil every time you shave.
Edge Clean Complete.
So clean up your act with Edge Clean Shave Gel.
Leonard Henry came in ranked 6th in the nation in rushing. He's getting it done today. 15 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. And there is Leonard Henry. Came into action already the Conference USA all-time record holder with 29 rushing touchdowns. And he remains in the football game today. This is the 4th straight drive for East Carolina that they'll start at their own 20-yard line. Henry is the ball carrier. A hop, skip, and a jump. Tackled by Chris Crocker.
You know, we mentioned the Cincinnati game earlier when they had that 28-3 lead. The reason they had that is in the first quarter against Cincinnati. Henry had 168 yards and 3 touchdowns in one quarter.
We call him Leonard Henry. Dave, what do they call him?
Well, his nickname is Skinner, Steve. After the play, we'll tell you much more about that.
2nd down and 6. Slot right. Handed off to Henry, trying the right side. A nice spinning run, and he's got it up for the 1st down. Tell us about it, Dave.
So why is it Skinner? Turns out Leonard's dad, Charlie, was watching TV one night just before Leonard was born. He saw the rock and roll group Leonard Skinner playing. He told his wife, Teresa, Leonard would be a great name for our baby, with a different spelling, of course. So the nickname back home is Skinner, and all the guys in the ECU campus call him Skinner as well. Not Skinnerd, but Skinner.
He is 2nd in rushing all time for East Carolina. Junior Smith is the record holder. Looks like Charlie Dempsey is injured, the left guard for East Carolina. The sophomore from Jacksonville, North Carolina.
O-line has been doing an excellent job here, particularly on that last drive. It took the momentum away from Marshall. Usually what happens at the end of the play is you catch it on the back. There you see him fall down and trip. Something, he's holding his right knee.
Right guard has been a problem for East Carolina this season. They've missed their starter at that position, Chris Nelson, for most of the season due to injury. And see if they lose their backup left guard here. Dempsey is Aaron Walker's backup.
Having experienced that, I know how frustrating it is because what that doctor tells you is such a big deal. You saw him patting the leg. How loose is it? How loose is it? That's what you're thinking if you're the man on the ground.
I'll tell you about some great college basketball while we have the opportunity. Tomorrow night on ESPN2, see Rick Pitino in Louisville take on Tennessee. And then the nightcap, Memphis and Temple. John Chaney, John Calipari. Should be interesting tomorrow night. We're double-dipping college hoops here on ESPN2 as Dempsey is helped off the field.
Interesting with regards to that basketball. I'm curious your opinion. Pitino going to Louisville. I mean, that's odd. That's like a football coach who leaves Ohio State and goes to Michigan or something, or goes from Alabama to Auburn, right? I mean, that's quite a rival.
That is strange, and they're still not real happy about the job he did in Boston.
No.
Pitino would actually admit to that. Because that's a particularly good job. As Henry is swung around and dropped at the 30 for a loss of 1 on the play. Josh Cordell making the stop.
Good pursuit by the white shirts. The street stands his man up, and Cordell able to knife underneath and tackle Henry for the loss.
We read about players like Cordell and the media guy. You know, they say all the great accomplishments in high school, but he had his uniform number retired in high school. You don't come across that too often.
No, you don't.
On 2nd down and 11, sends Leonard Henry in motion out to the right side. And it's picked off, and that's going to be 6. Terrence Tarpley, touchdown. 25 yards. An ill-advised screen pass, and Tarpley gets the touchdown.
Steve, this is thrown backwards. This is thrown backwards. The idea here is that he's going to throw the ball, but the block out front is not there. Take a look. He's supposed to be blocked, but it doesn't happen. I think it was Leonard Henry that was supposed to make the block. It doesn't happen. Tarpley stepped in front of Alston, who was going to throw the ball downfield.
Curtis Head is on to attempt the extra point. 5:21 to play here in the third. This ball game just got a little tighter. Head will put it through.
Take another look at this play. The play is designed. It's a little bit of a gimmick. Now you can see right here, he's going to throw it backward. See, he's behind the line, but Henry could not block Tarpley. And the result is once again a momentum shift. Here's Garrard. There he's going to throw this backward. Alston's all set to go. Nope, he isn't. Tarpley, and as you point out, boy, that feels good if you're a corner. You get that pick six.
These two teams, we told you, combined to average 70 points per game, right about where we are now. 41. Hey! But what we did not figure on is that the defenses have accounted for 28 of the 70 points tonight.
Well, remember in the first quarter, I believe they had this, it was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, 21 points, and now here it's 21-3, essentially, here in the third quarter. So it's really
and bizarre, isn't it? And the East Carolina woes, we've documented how they've struggled in the turnover department, but it's really been the fumbles, not the interceptions for East Carolina that's been the woes for them. Steve Logan pointed that out at the luncheon. It would just hang on to the football. No fumbles, kids, yesterday. That was his message to his team. Marvin Towns, again, no opportunity for a run back, and East Carolina will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20. You get the sense this one is far from over. We still got a lot of points to be put up on that board by either the offense or the defense.
Well, there's 20 minutes left in the game, and what has to happen here for East Carolina is the same thing that happened 2 drives ago. That 11, he's shaking his head going, not again. Deja vu.
And they say this coaching is fun. Bowl games are fun. Logan does not look like he's having a good time here so far tonight. Handoff to Henry. Gain of 1 on the play.
Well, just as we talked about in the first quarter, how turnovers were such an issue for Marshall. Now they're huge on the other end. First, the interception by Ralph Street, a great athletic play and great anticipation. And, of course, on the other side here on this lateral, the pick by Tarpley, he steps in front and walks into the end zone. And once again, Marshall's got it going.
6 turnovers in the football game today. If you just look at the offensive points, East Carolina is leading Marshall 23-15. But it's 41-29 when you add it all up, and East Carolina looking for more. And Garrard took off, and Satterwhite brought him down after the gain of 21 by David Garrard. Injury update, down to Dave.
That's the big gainer on the ground for Dave Garrard there, despite the fact starting left guard Charlie Dempsey is lost for the game. They're saying a badly sprained left knee. Could be worse in terms of ligaments. They've got him iced up, and he's done for tonight.
All right, Dave, thank you. Garrard, the 3rd leading rusher on the team, and a 38-yard run earlier in the season. That one went for 21. This time we'll let the running back take care of things. Leonard Henry, the ball carrier, gain of 5 on the play. Garrard's best rushing game was against Syracuse, 13 carries for 54 yards.
Steve, I'm wondering if at this point, if Doug Martin isn't looking down the playbook and saying, how many different ways can we run the option and how many different ways can we go off tackle? Garrard has only thrown the ball 13 times, and 2 of them have been for interceptions for touchdowns. So I can't imagine that Garrard's going to be throwing too much more in this game.
We'll see the numbers on him on 2nd down and 5. Here's Henry knifing through the hole and out to the void. Chris Crocker brought him down. Good explosion there of speed by Henry, gain of 13.
Well, again, and this is where East Carolina is strong, and that's in the running game, getting the ball between the tackles. And even though Steve Logan points out we're not a time of possession kind of team, I would think that the way things are going in the third quarter, they might want to turn into one. Get one of those running drives and take time off the clock like they did 2 drives ago. And they took off 3:47. Excuse me.
Sorry, Todd. Henry is over 103 yards today. Option. This time it's Alston has problems getting the football, and he doesn't have the football. Marshall has it. Larry Davis took it away from Alston.
Now, for young players out there, here's my advice. if you're close to the sideline and you feel like you can't come up with the ball, as you see Steve Logan absolutely beleaguered. If you're this close to the sidelines and you can't come up with it, just bat the thing out of bounds right there. Just push it out of bounds. Instead, when you create a pop-up, earlier in the season, remember, Steve, those of you that watched probably a Dolphin and Jet game where the receiver got picked off and the guy went the other way because he bobbled it up in the air. Just push the thing out of bounds if you're not sure.
First down and 10. Marshall looking to be opportunistic. Wallace the ball carrier. Gain of 3 on the play. Kevin Ward made the stop for East Carolina. Marshall has the football back because East Carolina has turned it over 3 times this quarter. And a quarter, this still has 3 minutes left in it to play.
Steve, some huge pressure now on the East Carolina defense because you figure 38-8 this game is over with. If they score a touchdown now and come within 41-36, that is really going to be all sorts of problems on that bench for the Pirates.
Marshall thought the MAC championship game was over with as well, and they had a 23-0 lead against Toledo, and that didn't work out. Incomplete pass. He tried to send it back to Franklin Wallace. This unique perspective of tonight's game. This unique perspective, that's not particularly unique. Now this is unique right there. This unique perspective of tonight's game being provided by the Saturn View from high above the stadium. The Saturn Lightship team hopes you enjoy the 2001 GMAC Bowl and the view.
Big third down here for East Carolina. As we pointed out, Marshall has struggled on third down throughout the game, but if they can... Once again, there is a clock issue as we're waiting to see that get reset. But the point here with regards to East Carolina is if they can force a 3 and out after yet another turnover, that would just be huge for them.
Going to add some 23 seconds back onto the clock.
So I wonder, who does this benefit, offense or defense, with all the stalling? What do you think?
I think, Todd, I'm probably supposed to be asking you that particular question.
Well, I'm just giving you a chance to analyze.
I would think the stalling would help the offense here.
So give me a chance then to change my voice and go, okay, 3rd and 8. How's that? Try it.
Actually, you probably shouldn't do that. That's the problem if we get into a play-by-play opportunity. Probably better at it than I am. I'll be out of a job.
3 for 9. That's what we talked about, the third down conversion.
No, 3 for 9. Didn't do it that way. Here's Lefty. Plenty of time. Throwing. Found a seam, and he's got his man. And they're on Marriott. Down at the 30-yard line.
When they continue to rush with 3 and they're in their zone, where they're most vulnerable, Steve, is in the short corner area. Remember in the second quarter, he had a similar throw to Watts that he dropped near the sideline. Here is the short corner by Marriott. He gets between the safeties and the linebackers underneath. And when you have this kind of time, well, what a gun he has. And look at that spiral. Well, he throws a pretty ball.
23-yard gain on the play.
26 of 39 now for 319 yards is left with.
They give it to Watts with the speed, turned the corner, but is tackled out of bounds. Cordell Griffin got a hand on him after the gain of 7.
Florida makes that play popular with their fun and gun, and of course Pruitt serves some time down there in the Sunshine State, so he's well aware of that. Watts is their fastest player, a 4.38 man is my understanding. Of course, I never believe 40 times anymore, but you can see number 40 is quite quick, and of course Tim Rose has to be a very concerned defensive coordinator.
2nd down and 4 from the 23. The temperature has taken a pretty good dip here in Mobile. Game time temperature tonight was 63 degrees. They get the play away. Next pressure. Leftwich swung around and down. Vonta Leach on the sack. A loss of 7 on the play.
And that's why you had Tim Rose paying so much attention. He decided he wanted to come to blitz with the outside. Here he comes. Comes in completely untouched. Poor job on the part of Wallace in searching out somebody coming in. When you have the back who's in, that's the guy that should be able to see it. In this case, Wallace could not, and the result is a sack now, 3rd and 11.
Find out how important that play really was after this play. 3 receivers out to the right. Wallace standing side by side with Leftwich. Here's Byron. The throw. Set, fires. It's Marriott. 1st down and more. And he's dropped at the 15. Gain of 15. And Leach brought him down.
Leach is a linebacker at 5'11", and a little close to 250 pounds. There's no way that he should be covering Marriott coming across the middle like that. That is a complete mismatch. Great job by Leftwich to see it. First down for the Thundering Herd.
Marriott, 9 catches, 114 yards so far on the night. Here's Wallace. Touchdown! Franklin Wallace. 15 yards up the middle for the score.
Steve, when you continue to fade back and pass, you spread people out, you're looking for receivers, you're looking for crossing routes, you're looking for all these things in the secondary, and what happens? You go with the slip draw, poor tackling, in for 6. Take a look at the middle of the field, you're going to see the poor tackling. Right here, no, you got to wrap people up. That's 3 different people who missed the tackle. The result is Wallace is in for the touchdown, and Steve, at this point, it's no longer hype. We do have a football game.
Here's Head on for the extra point, and it is good. 60 seconds left to play in the third quarter. We're in a 5-point game. Dave, down to you.
All right, Steve. Connick said what will happen on the East Carolina sideline a few moments ago. Marshall marches down the field and scored what was once a 30-point lead is down to 5. As you can imagine, guys are hanging their heads here. What you're hearing mostly is, what in the world is going on? Didn't we have a big lead a few minutes ago? And some other words I really can't repeat to you guys on the air.
Marshall has outscored East Carolina, Dave, 28-3 in this third quarter. Amazing when you think that Marshall was down 38-8 at halftime. And here we find ourselves in a 5-point game with a minute left in the third quarter.
Well, to be honest, please, forget it. Oh, you're not going to be honest? No. As soon as somebody prefaces that right away, you know it's bogus. Have you ever had people come to you and say, hey, can I ask you a question? Well, that's a question already. Meaning that what I was about to say was, I believe that this could happen, but not with a minute left in the third quarter. I was thinking that maybe, what about, say, 3 or 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter?
Here's Head to kick it away. Towns won't get a chance again. Head boots it into the end zone every single time. Turnover's the story in the third quarter.
Yeah. Very good. We have a phrase in our house, Steve. It's called MOTO, M-O-T-O, master of the obvious. Yeah, turnovers have been the story, all right. Those 2 picks, and of course the last one by Alston, who up to this point had a tremendous game, a number of big plays, just a pop-up, and of course that turns into a touchdown. Now 41-36. The result of Wallace breaking 3 tackles, in for the score. With 55 seconds remaining, and evidently there's a penalty because they're going to have to kick it again.
As we flag down, you look at the turnovers. 7 in the football game, so you can't call this a well-played game, but for those folks, the GMAC ball here, certainly been entertaining football game.
Yes, that goes without saying.
Neither
right.
coach will like it.
No, exactly right. We haven't seen too many smiles on the sidelines, either from Logan or Pruitt. Steve Logan's saying to himself, yeah, 28-2. We understand the Cincinnati thing. We understand these others, but come on, 38-8? He knew what he was talking about when he said that to Dave Ryan. But, of course, Dave always is able to elicit, to get those responses, isn't he? Not the coach speak. He gets the real thing. Special like that. He is.
Curtis Head will kick it again. You see if Marvin Towns will have a chance to return this one. Head puts a leg into it. Wow. Towns looked like he was thinking about it, and maybe took his eye off the ball, but he was rescued by the touchback. Again, we've mentioned it. We've harped on it throughout, and it's fact. Can't get around it. East Carolina, you look at the last 4 games, situations they've been in the first half, and dismantling some teams early, and then having to hang on or lose.
I can't speak for the other 4 games, Steve, but I hear here in Mobile where they fancy themselves a bit of a junior New Orleans. Maybe it's bad mojo. Could be. Who's the thought? Who's the thought as well?
Here's Gerard now. Throwing it across the middle and completing to Richard Alston. It's a nice move for an extra yard to give him the first down. 38 seconds left in this third quarter. Gain of 11 on that play.
That was a play that was effective. Remember, in the first quarter, they ran the same thing, the misdirection. Ralph Street took kind of a circuitous route to get to the quarterback, number 34. If he'd have just taken off and gone after Gerard, he might have had him. But instead, rounded it a little bit, and that afforded Garrard the chance to find Alston in the middle of the field.
All 6 East Carolina second-half drives have started at their own 20-yard line. Handoff. Henry the left side. Gain of 4. Chris Crocker took him down. 8th tackle of the game for Crocker of Marshall.
Now, everything, you know what's entertaining about this, Steve, is the time runs out here in the third quarter. Everything that we'd anticipated. Henry goes over 100 yards. Leftwich goes over 300 yards. We have over 70 points in scoring. And guess what? It's only the end of the third quarter.
First 3 quarters have been rather entertaining. Can't wait to see what the fourth quarter has to offer. You have to wonder what's going through the minds of Steve Logan and Bob Pruitt. No idea how this one is going to shake out. Final 15 minutes coming up.
Pardon the interruption. 5:30 weekdays on ESPN. Again at 7 on ESPN2.
It was the mountains and the snow and the water below. And you will know it's cold at last when the Coors Light hits your glass. Are you ready for a cold one? Are you ready for a cold Coors Light? Are you ready for a cold Coors Light?
Hey, Hallie Eisenberg drinking a Pepsi.
Actually, this isn't a Pepsi. It's new Pepsi Twist with lemon. And I'm Hallie Eisenberg.
I'm Halle Berry.
Drinking Pepsi Twist.
Well, it's not exactly Pepsi Twist. It's Diet Pepsi Twist. And I'm not exactly Halle Berry.
You know. I'm Barry Bostwick. Who's Barry Bostwick?
Like Twist? Try new Pepsi Twist in regular and diet. A lemon twist on that great Pepsi taste.
I always say, don't judge a man until you see what's in his garage. I'm a guy who craves power. Power that only Optima batteries deliver. The red top Optima for more starting power in any weather. Optima blue tops for all the marine power you can handle. And Optima yellow tops for the big-time auxiliary power in this baby. Optima batteries are different. They take cold, heat, and vibration better than other batteries. Yeah, Optima batteries, the ultimate power source.
Checking out digital cameras?
Yeah, I need FireWire compatibility so that I can email my pictures.
Sure. This one also makes MPEG movies.
Really?
She's excited. It's for our baby. Congratulations. Considered any names yet?
Yeah, maybe Sony or Olympus, but they're the expert, right?
We know how you feel, and that's why we're here. Circuit City. We're with you.
How about an LCD screen?
LCD, chickenpox, we're going to screen for everything.
Hey, Carrot Top here. Next time you make a collect call, just dial down the center. It's 1-800-CALLATT. It's free for you and cheap for them. Daddy's working. Come on, sit. Oh, doggy.
Save big bucks on every call. Just dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals?
No.
Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue. Man, that is awesome. Get Selsun Power.
We ended the third quarter with third phase doing the honors. We open up quarter number 4. The GMAC Bowl from Mobile, Alabama. We're in a 5-point game, and they reverse it. Far side to Marcus Fox, the true freshman out of Greenville, North Carolina. As we look back, our ESPN2 game track turnover story in both halves.
Well, certainly in the first half, you knew it was all East Carolina, and we mentioned that at 38-8. But you know what? Leftwich now has put together a pretty good string here over the last couple of plays. And of course, in the third quarter, it's been all Marshall except for the one field goal kick. And of course, as we pointed out, no hype intended. A real football game here in the fourth stanza.
This was a 38-8 ball game in favor of East Carolina at halftime. Marshall right back in. Here's Garrard looking up top. And he overthrows his intended targets. Arnie Powell was there, and so too was Yancey Satterwhite.
Powell and Maine were running too close together, and as a result, Yancey Satterwhite was actually on coverage in the post route. But once the ball was thrown, he was able to come off, and if that ball had been thrown a little bit better, Satterwhite would have had a pick.
Hey, the most points ever scored by a Conference USA team in a bowl game is 41. Southern Miss against Pittsburgh. They outscored them 41-7, and here is East Carolina looking to threaten that already at 41 points and counting. Second down and 10. 4 receivers in the pattern for Garrard. And the senior throws, and the catch is made. Corey Morris. No, it is not a catch. They say he juggled it and couldn't bring it down.
Roberto Terrell has been outstanding as a returner. Let's take a look. The ball's bobbled right there. It doesn't quite have it. Satterwhite is there, and then here comes Terrell and knocks it loose. Well, that's close. That's awfully close. You know what that reminds me a little bit, Steve, is that big controversial play in Cleveland where the guy came down with the ball. Seemed like it was all over his body. Did he or didn't he have possession? That was debatable also.
Third down upcoming. Garrard has struggled this half. Looking to get things going, and the throw, and that one is caught. Derek Collier on the receiving end. He's brought down at the 41-yard line. Gain of 16.
Just as we talk about Garrard struggling, he will maintain himself, step right up, and make a big play. They came with the blitz from the outside. Watch him stand in with a man right in his face. He does a good job containing him, coming to the inside. Look at this. Right in his face is Kelvin Smith, and he's able to deliver this ball right on the money. That's a big-time throw by Garrard.
The struggles prior to that, Garrard was 3 of 10, was picked off twice in the second half. Now looking to get things going to try the running game. No gain there from Leonard Henry.
And Steve, the issue here, and I'm not meaning to be melodramatic, but stating a fact. Now this close, 5 points away. They can't afford the luxury now of just bleeding time off the clock and protecting their lead and giving the ball to Henry. Garrard is going to have to make some plays in these remaining 14 minutes with his arm and with his feet.
Second down and 10. 2 receivers out to the left. Garrard off play action, steps up and throws. His pass is high, but it's caught. Nice catch by Corey Morris, and good second and third effort by Morris. Only had 13 catches in the regular season, yet he was tied for the team lead with 3 touchdown catches. Missed 3 games with a broken foot. One of the many injured wide receivers for East Carolina this season.
See, the extra effort and the missed tackle by Satterwhite really turned out to be quite large, because if he gets tackled right where he is, we're looking at about a 3rd and 7. Instead, they come up 3rd and 3, and as we know, that's a big difference.
East Carolina will take a timeout. And when they do, we'll do the same. 41-36, Pirates.
Mom. Dad. Hey, kiddo. Hey, we sold the house. So till we get a new place, we're moving in here.
Need a new home? Fast? With GMAC Real Estate, you can search for homes, tour neighborhoods, even find financing online. No wonder it's the smart move to make.
Kids run. Go.
Don't look back.
For more information, visit our website or call your local GMAC agent today.
I chose to play the game. It didn't choose me. Sure, things weren't always easy.
Friends, fighting, school, drugs.
But the game taught me the fundamentals of life.
Honesty, teamwork, trust.
I knew drugs, even weed, would get in the way. Football, my anti-drug. Now I'm the teacher.
Why do I like holiday shopping at Office Depot for my friends and family? Because they have a shipping center right in the store. So I can choose any of their great gifts, wrap and pack them, and Office Depot sends them anywhere in the world. That means I can get just the right thing for everyone on my list.
It's empty.
Office Depot, proud sponsor of the 2002 U.S. Olympic team.
Birds gotta fly. I'm gonna love one man till I die. Can't help loving that man of mine.
Want your pets to love you too? All you need for the holidays is the most popular pet site online and Visa. PetSmart.com's preferred way to pay.
Can't help loving that man of mine.
Could you have asked for a better first half, Steve Logan? A complete domination of Marshall.
Well, we've done this all year long, and what we got to do now is go play 2 more quarters of football, which we haven't done all year long. So we're going to have to finish this thing. 2 defensive touchdowns, the biggest it can get, but it's all about finishing now. This team is not finished, so that's going to be our focus in the second half. See if we can turn the heat up about 2 degrees.
Good luck in the second half. The most recent flashback ever. Usually we flash back yesterday, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago. Not a quarter ago, as Leonard Henry is the ball carrier, but Steve Logan knows of what he speaks, and if you thought that was just coach speak, hey, try to keep his team focused and involved, absolutely not. Exactly what we're talking about here in the second half.
Of course, I'm sure that he hadn't predicted that his team was going to turn the ball over 3 times in the third quarter, 2 of them interceptions for touchdowns, but then again, he has experienced that.
Todd, is that inexperience, the lack of the killer instinct? We see that among our college football travels. Teams get up big and can't put other teams away, and I don't think you see it as much in the NFL.
Well, I think what ends up happening is you have the inability to just step on the other guy's neck, and then what happens is when you have a big lead like that, you start to play not to lose as opposed to playing to win. And as those of you who watch a lot of sports know, there's a big difference between the two.
And the measurement, good for a first down. .07 left to play here in the fourth quarter. You are locked into the GMAC Bowl. 25th ranked Marshall found themselves trailing by 30 at halftime. And now they're trailing by 5. You see the first down as we just about flip-flop the first half to the second half. Now here's East Carolina on the move, looking ahead to their 5-point lead. Off play action, they pitch it back to Richard Alston. Thought about throwing it. Bumped off some people, and he's down at the 28-yard line. Richard Alston can throw the football. 4 times this season, he's attempted passes. 2 of them have gone for touchdowns.
Well, here's what happens here. Torrey Morris actually gets downfield, and he is open, but the play takes too long. And what happens is they're able to recover. Watch him come to the inside. Now he comes downfield. Look at this. Whoa, is he open? Throw it! Throw it! But it took too long. It just took too long, and as a result, he was just able to get a couple of yards and get out of bounds.
And Alston as a thrower, 2 of 4 for 105 yards, and 2 scores. Here's Garrard throwing and completing to Derek Collier. And Collier's down to the 10-yard line. Collier really looking to find pay dirt. That's been a problem. He's tied for the team lead with 31 catches, but not a single touchdown catch.
And let me tell you what was really important about this catch. He spins away. The guy comes out of nowhere to whack him from the backside. Bam! And you would have thought that at that point, number 55 would have separated the ball from him. That's Sam Goins, but he was able to hang on. That was a big play by him in holding on.
First down and 10 from the 12. Garrard faked the option and kept it himself. Gain of 2 on the play. Max Yates brought him down. Yates, the big stopper on the Marshall defense, relatively quiet so far today. I haven't mentioned his name too often.
Ralph Street, it was interesting, decides to go for the back this time instead of going after Garrard. You can see he chases after the back, cuts to the inside, and Garrard does make the right decision in not pitching the ball and holding on.
Yates in double figures in 11 of 12 games this season in tackles. That's 21 against Akron. Here today, he has just 5 tackles so far. And 12 to go here in the fourth. Garrard under immediate pressure, able to break a tackle and leaps into the end zone. Now there is a flag down. There is a flag down. holding against Gerard in the offense.
Well, we know at 250 pounds he can break tackle. Take a look at the middle of your screen. There's the holding right there on the ground. He's got him by the leg. That's the official sees, and so they'll go 10 yards back from that spot. Breaks the tackle of Alonzo Jones. Now you can see that's clear holding on the part of DeMarcus Fox. He's holding Yancey Satterwhite.
East Carolina 5 for 5 in the red zone in this game. Here's Gerard. Rolling right. Now doing the pressure left. Still on his feet. Down to the 15.
Boy, oh boy, is he strong. I got to tell you, it looked like Stanford Owens had him. Was just going to drag him down, no problem, along with Orlando Washington. Take a look now. I know what his thinking is. Hey, everybody's coming to this side. Now, if I go back against the grain, I'm going to pull it off. Orlando Washington says, no way, I'm dragging you down. Look how strong he is. I mean, that's a big man now. Washington's near 300 pounds, and he still can't pull him down.
Loss of 3 on that play.
Now, here, you know what I like here, Steve? I like a drop play for this reason. 3rd down and 14, you're probably not going to get the first down. Don't try and throw a pass and force something, and that's what he's doing. He's going to call timeout and discuss it and say, look, I've got a great field goal kicker here. Let's go up by 8 points. Let's not take any chances at all, because at this point, the only thing that's been killing us is turnovers. Let's go up by 8.
AC Bowl is presented by GMAC and their family of financial services.
Downtown Mobile, Alabama, a downtown that has been rather kind to the ESPN crew since we all arrived in town on Monday night. We certainly appreciate the fine hospitality by the people here and the folks put together the GMAC Bowl. Pivotal play in the game on 3rd and 14. After the timeout, here's Gerard throwing. Thought I slung it inside the 10, and it's incomplete. Collier couldn't hang on.
Really, I don't understand that play, and they're fortunate to get that ball back, because what he wanted is an out and up, and he was about to throw it up for grabs. He pulled it back, threw it downfield. I don't understand, because Henry can get you 5 yards, then you've got a field goal inside the 30, a chip shot. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to make a 32-yarder. I'm just saying that seems to me to make more sense.
And Todd, they burned a timeout to use that play. They have just 1 timeout left, and that figures to be pivotal in this game. Here's Kevin Miller. From 32 yards away, it is up, and it is good. Cue the cannon. And it becomes an 8-point game with 10:43 left here in the 4th. And again, East Carolina will have just 1 timeout left.
Now, an issue that we haven't brought up earlier, but it has become a bit of an issue. You mentioned that it's gotten a little bit colder. Also, the wind has picked up a little bit because all the kicks that have gone in this direction. Now Marshall is going to be going into the wind. That could affect some of Leftwich's throws.
And so Marshall will face some more adversity, finding themselves down 8 points in this game. This is a season that opened for the Thundering Herd, and you're talking about tough scheduling at a conference. They lost their opener at then number 1 Florida, 49-14, then spent the next 6 games dealing with a self-imposed suspension of 12 starters sprinkled throughout those 6 games who allegedly received some extra benefits. And that's something Bob Pruitt has talked about, fighting through the adversity all season long. And they find themselves now here in the bowl game. The 5th straight bowl game, trailing by 8.
And now how big does that 2-point conversion by Trod Buggs loom?
Yes.
Because now they're 1 score away as opposed to being down 9 points.
I am finding that recently the 2-point conversion in both college and the NFL seems to be more pivotal. Now, I don't know if we should pay more attention to it or we're in a string of 2-point conversions. Here's Carey out to the 20-yard line. 18-yard return.
We should compliment East Carolina, their cover team. It seems to me, Steve, that you know, they've scored 44 points, which means they kicked off a lot. And I don't recall Marshall ever starting outside the 20 as a result of a kickoff return.
So astute, Todd. For East Carolina, they did allow a kick return to Zeke Parker of Louisville for 91 yards and a score. But the next longest after that all season was 29 yards. That's the kick coverage you are talking about. Out of the gun, inside handoff to Franklin Wallace. They'll pick up 3 on the play. Pernell Griffin on the stop. Tomorrow night, the 2001 bowl season continues. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN. Phillip Rivers, the Wolfpack, they'll meet up with the Pitt Panthers. And potentially their superstar receiver, Antonio Bryant, who's trying to get through an injury. That game in Orlando. 2001 Visit Florida Tangerine Bowl on ESPN.
Nice shot with the USS Alabama in the background.
That will be Bowl 3 of 25. If you count it down, Leftwich on his own, gain of 7 on the play.
Now, I wonder, Steve, you say to yourself, if you're at home and you're a Marshall fan, you say, why hasn't he done that before? Because if they rush with 3 and they've got 8 in coverage, you're thinking to yourself, there got to be some holes for that quarterback to exploit. It just goes to show how much confidence Leftwich has in his arm and how disciplined he is. Because we've seen so many young quarterbacks. The first read's not there. I'm gone. I got to run. He hangs in there, sees read after read after read. This young man, after a horrible start, continues to impress me.
Picked up the Vern Smith Award as the conference's MVP, only the 3rd Marshall player to win it. Randy Moss and Chad Pennington, tremendous former Herd players, won it before. That pass by Leftwich behind his intended target, Darius Watts. And I think the East Carolina defense done a good job taking Watts pretty much out of this game.
They really have. You know, coming into this game, he had those absolutely stunning stats. 91 catches for 1,417 yards, 18 touchdowns, 118 yards per game in yardage. He has not approached that. He is, I wouldn't say he's been a non-factor, but certainly he hasn't been as big a factor as we thought he was going to be.
The 91 catches breaks, speaking of Randy Moss. Moss's Division 1A school record since Marshall came into Division 1A in 97. Second year of Bob Pruitt's staff. Here's Leftwich now. Throwing, put some air under it. Maybe too much. Watts couldn't bring that one down. Watts goes 6'2", 175, just a sophomore.
And the hands on the hips by Leftwich speaks volumes. He had what he wanted, and you're exactly right. He gave it a little bit too much air.
3rd down and 10.
It's one of those where the quarterback pats himself in the chest and says, my bad.
Marshall, 5 of 11 on 3rd down. Again, 49% on the season. 5th best team in the nation in 3rd down conversions. And the crowd starts to get loud. And here's Leftwich. Across the middle, completing 1st down yardage or more. And Leftwich is shaken up. Looked like he took a hit after the 17-yard gain to Josh Davis. Pernell Griffin looked like he put the hit on Leftwich.
And I'm telling you what, boy, he takes a lot of hits. Watch at the end of the play, you're going to see it. Pernell Griffin drives him into the ground. Now, I'm telling you right now, Steve, at the NFL level, that's 15 yards. They call that. But look how tough he is. He hangs in, and you can see him grimacing. This would be a time to hand the ball off and let him recover a little bit.
Good call, Coach. There's Wallace, the ball carrier. Out to about the 46-yard line, gain of 6. Griffin, another tackle. Now, we've seen both quarterbacks shows tremendous strength. These are not players who would appear to be injury-prone. They take it and keep on ticking.
Well, this is one of the reasons why the pros love to have a big man like this, because they are going to take shots like that. If that's your normal college quarterback, he got a break there because there was an injured player for East Carolina sprinting off the field. They blew it when Ronald Powell was coming off the field, and of course, there's Frost warming up just in case.
2nd down and 4.
Sam Hiller,
and they hand it off to Wallace. Cut it back inside for a nice gain of 5 on the play. Griffin, another tackle, but not before it was too late.
Now, that's back-to-back handoffs, and you have to ask yourself the question, how badly is he hurting? We see him grimace, we see him lean over. Once he plants that, because he's holding his lower back, and you know how difficult that is, Steve, to plan and get the ball downfield.
Ed Zondrecker, the offensive coordinator, told us about Leftwich holding on to the ball as the screen is out to Josh Davis. There is a flag on the play, but maybe that was an example. Zondrecker said Leftwich has the guts. He hangs on to the ball to the very last second, try to wait for his receiver to get into the clear, and because of that, you're going to absorb some big hits, as he did.
Substitution problem on the part of East Carolina, and once again, that'll give Leftwich some time to recover a little bit. I fractured my transverse process, Steve, and that's the bone that kind of covers your kidney down low, and it looks like it's around that area for Leftwich. Right around his average. The offense average is throwing 350 yards a game. We'll take another shot at this. Of course, Pernell Griffin, this is 254 pounds, coming with speed, driving him into the ground right there, right through his gosh.
Leftwich off the best season for a quarterback in MAC history. We talked to him yesterday. I said, I just wanted to try to goad him into an answer. He said, how was your season? He said, that could have been better. Not according to MAC statistics, it couldn't have been better. He had a brilliant season. Nice young man. Quick handoff to the receiver, Darius Watts. And Watts to the 31-yard line. Gain of 7.
Steve, I'm telling you right now, he's having a problem. He's really having a problem. He's bent over. You can see by his body language, because if he's going to throw the ball, I would say if you're hurting that badly, you know he's going to come out of the gun because he doesn't want to take the 5-step drop because he has problems with his lower back. So the more he's under the snap, the more you realize that it's either going to be a quick throw or he's going to hand the ball off. Here I'm guessing he's going to throw.
First down and 10. Inside draw on the handoff out of the shotgun. No gain there.
That's what I get for guessing.
The wind really picking up. We'll show you the American flag in the end zone. It's really blowing. There you go. John McDonough getting it done. Now it's blowing well away. Marshall going against the wind.
When is he going to throw? That's a big question. And how well is it going? What's it going to look like?
And Todd, if you notice it, chances are the East Carolina coaching staff is well aware. Probably their players as well.
They're coming with a blitz.
Leftwich drop. Wallace stays in to protect nicely. Flag comes late from the backyard. Gennaro Marriott, the intended target. And there's an injured Pirate down on the field. And it might be serious the way some of the Carolina players are pointing to get the medical attention on the field and quickly. That's Charlie Robinson. For East Carolina, might be the injured Pirate on the field.
There's the catch right at the end. Clyde tries to make the hit, and it actually comes from his own teammate. Comes from number 12, Anthony Adams. Take a look head-to-head. Right there at the end. Oh, it catches him right in the ear hole. He's actually going after the receiver. I don't know, frankly, I don't know where the flag came. I mean, I know where the flag came from. I just don't know why.
Todd, Anthony Adams has been playing with a slight concussion, involved in that collision with Charlie Robinson.
Oh, good.
Who's getting up, but slowly. It's the time you want to take your time.
Yes, you do. And this is the point where they're saying, how many fingers and where are you? I've been there, Steve, where I actually had to reach down and touch the astroturf to realize where I was. I was that screwed up. But I'm glad he got up. Now back to the game for just a second. It didn't appear, judging by the velocity of that pass, that he had any problems.
Yes. Going back to Leftwich.
Yeah.
Seems like a long time ago we were talking about.
It does. I'm guessing that all this time off, you know, the time in between the running plays and this, I think it's benefited.
The offense. Really do. Benefited the offense.
Yep.
On first down and 10. Pass to the 3. Leftwich, straight drop with time. Top and fires, and that is flat out dropped. There was good coverage on the play at the 5. Josh Davis had it and then could not hang on.
See, this is what I preach to young receivers, and for those of you that are at home that listen to the people say catch it in the hands, they're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. When you're between the hashes, you body this ball because you know you're going to get hit. Watch, he tries to make the nice hands catch, and all you have to do is get a piece of your arm to strip the ball away. If he goes up and cradles it in his chest with his arms and elbows, that's a catch. Travis Heath is the one to strip.
Good advice from a guy who caught 90 balls in the NFL a couple of times. On 2nd down and 10, according to our statistics, that's the 8th drop tonight by Marshall. Here's Leftwich throwing to his right and taking off. There is a flag down. Leftwich is taking on some people at the 15. Could have gone out of bounds, but looking to take the hit for the extra yardage and administer some punishment as well. A 7-yard gain, but we'll see what the flag's about.
It's holding, and it's all going to come back.
And it's really not worth it.
No.
Holding, offense. 1 yard, clear spot, still 2nd down.
But this does tell you one other thing too, Steve, and that is that if he is hurting as badly as we thought he was, he certainly wouldn't have been running the ball there. He would have thrown it out of the end zone. But instead, he's feeling a little bit better, and once again, Heath is the one that comes up and takes the hit on it. Rolls out to the right. Not the niftiest guy in the world, but listen to the collision. Now, despite the fact that Heath is the one that delivered the lick, I think he took the brunt of it.
Todd, I'm a little surprised more players don't have hand or wrist injuries. That looked like down low, helmet to the wrist area as well. And Leftwich takes it off. And he's ready to throw again. Across the middle, and it is nearly intercepted. And quite frankly, should have been. Anthony Adams came across and could have had the pick.
Tim Rose has been shaking it up here in the 4th quarter, not taking any more chances with the 3 rush and going back because Leftwich has been taking it apart. Now they've been coming with 4, 5, and 6-man rushes to make him hurry his throw. Anthony Adams is waiting in the weeds. He reads his eyes the entire time, cuts across. You're absolutely right, Steve. That hit him right in the face mask. He should have had the pick. Now, Steve, this is another situation that we mentioned earlier. More than likely, they're not going to get to the 10-yard line. Throw a hook pattern, get a little bit closer for a more makeable field goal.
Just get the play off. Here's Leftwich. Throwing. Got a man wide open. It's Marriott. Touchdown. Gennaro Marriott got behind the coverage. It's a 30-yard score. And Marshall continues to keep it close. It's a 2-point game, and they're going for 2.
Certainly they're going to go for 2, but what I didn't understand there, Steve, is that defensively for Tim Rose and his Chargers, why would you blitz? They come with a blitz, and that means man-for-man coverage. Marriott has been running it out and running the short corner very well. He's able to get Rodgers, cuts behind him, touchdown, and now they have an opportunity to tie the game with 6:15 remaining.
When it was 38-8 East Carolina at halftime, you did not think about Marshall would be going for the tie. They've already got a 2-point conversion tonight. This for the tie. As Leftwich brings him up, 3 receivers to his right, and he's going to attempt the pass to him. And it is batted away. 2-point conversion failed.
You know what? That would have been worth a timeout. It was clear to me that Leftwich was still not quite right. He was still a little bit fatigued. That was a huge 2 points. It would have been worth it to call the timeout, regroup a little bit. Instead, the benefit goes to East Carolina, a precarious 2-point lead.
What can
back in Mobile, Alabama for the potential fantastic finish here?
Well, of course, you know, this is storybook. The guy's been beat up. 3rd down, it's a huge play. He delivers on the money. But as I say, Steve, with that 2-point conversion, that play was so large. And you know the guy's beat up. You know they're a little bit tired. Regroup. Sit there. Don't put all the pressure on your quarterback to make this absolutely one huge call. Visit with your offensive coordinator. Visit with your head coach. Make a decision on the sideline. Plus, you get a chance to rest and think about it a little bit.
And they did have all 3 timeouts at their disposal,
sure.
Which, of course, they still have now.
Again, I keep talking about this young man at the next level, but the thing that's got to be impressive to professional scouts is they saw him at the beginning struggle. He could have easily just chucked it and said, I'm not, you know what, it's not my night, blah, blah, blah. We're 10-2. I still have big numbers. Instead, he regroups,
He's been getting whacked around. He's been getting hit, but the young man continues to hang in there. This young man has a great future on Sunday.
He's looking forward just to even next year. They're only going to lose one or two starters on offense. Short kick is fouled momentarily, but then it's picked up. Ben Thomas with the good hands there. Let's go down to Dave Ryan.
All right, Stephen Todd, as you can imagine, Buffalo's sideline has been exploding with the incredible comeback. At one point in this game, down by 30 points. It's been a roller coaster ride of emotions, to say the least, but their emotion now is totally on a high. Terrence Tarpley and Chris Crocker, two of the guys defensively trying to get the rest of their teammates going after a great comeback from this offense. They want the D to stand up tall here.
East Carolina look to take some time off the clock. Gerard off the play action, roll into his left. Now cuts it back to the right side, the near side, and here's Gerard. Now to the 40, and he's got the first down.
Now remember when he was inside the 20 going the other direction. That's exactly what he was thinking, which was he rolls all the way back and knows that he's got to cut back on a lot of yardage to the other side. This time, none of the defensive linemen could get their hands on him, and the result is a big gain.
Gain of 15 on the play there. And the clock stops, but it would have stopped anyway because it was for a first down. Gerard taking his time to line of scrimmage. He gets the play away, fakes the option, keeps it himself, and he has dropped Satterwhite. Another tackle for him after the gain of 1. The Saturn Lightship is providing us with these magnificent aerial views of the Ladd-Peebles Stadium and downtown Mobile, Alabama tonight. Saturn is proud to provide its view as the official vehicle of the 2001 GMAC Bowl. On 2nd and 8 now. Rushing some people. Gerard hung in there for the last second and couldn't get a play in. Derek Collier who gave you the effort but couldn't bring it down. Gerard, we talked about Leftwich hanging in the last second. Gerard hung in there.
Well, he did. Larry Davis came in and just whacked him, and I really thought that was a catchable ball. You're right. He needed his receiver to bail him out.
We're going to see you coming up next. Said NFL's greatest moments.
I tell you what, people. I hope there are people at home who would stand for this. They haven't been cheated. This has been a lot of fun with
those who have walked out early wish there was a ring admittance policy at Ladd-Peebles Stadium. 3rd down and 8. Draw play. There's textbook. Leonard Henry up the middle with the burst of speed. As the coaching staff told us, 0 to 60 in no time. Touchdown. There are no flags. 55-yard burst for Leonard Henry.
Larry Davis was the one that almost knocked down Gerard before he got the ball off. This time, the young man is the one who unfortunately misses the tackle. They spread him out, do a great job with 4 wide receivers. Now as he comes up the middle, there's Davis. He cannot make the tackle. Everybody's got their back turned because they're in coverage. Satterwhite cannot catch Henry. He's off to the races. A huge score for the Pirates.
But this 4 rushing touchdowns for Henry today, Todd, as Kevin Miller puts the extra point through. 25 carries, 165 yards, 2 scores for Leonard Henry. Marshall has come back all night. Do they have another comeback left in them? We'll find out over the next 5 minutes. Just an example, this is after the touchdown by East Carolina. Wow! That wasn't very nice, Todd. And I think she hurt her hand.
Well, come on. Then she deserves to get her hands hurt. She's not doing much of the work. The other guy is.
Speaking of working hard, putting in an effort today. Leonard Henry, Carolina. Skinner. And the kickoff bounces out of the end zone. Marshall will take over. Down by the always elusive 9. Yep. With 4:55 to play here in the 4th. Marshall does have all 3 timeouts left. So far tonight, we've seen 921 yards of total offense. We told you these 2 schools average a combined 70 points per game. We're at 93 and counting.
Yeah, Steve, Ben and I were talking about that before the game because I think the over and under on this is 60. I said,
Hope you took over.
Man.
Well, much more coverage, post-game reaction, Todd's fine analysis over on ESPN News. This quarter's over. That pass Leftwich was behind his intended target, the running back Franklin Wallace.
Now is the situation where Leftwich needs to revert to what he was doing in the third quarter. Carolina has a 2-score lead, so I'm almost certain that most of the time they're going to rush 3 and cover with 8. We just don't want to give up a big play at this point.
On 2nd and 10, 3 receivers to his right. Continue to rush 3, Todd, as Leftwich throws and completes the pass underneath. Able to get it to Curtis Jones, who wanted to spin away from the tackle, but could not. Gain of 8 on the play.
And, of course, what's costly about that is not getting the first down. The clock continues to run.
3rd and short. They run it with the quarterback Leftwich up the middle, and there the clock stopped on the first down. Leftwich picks up 4 on the play.
And one of the advantages of that being the quarterback sneak is the receivers didn't have to move, so there'll be very little time go off the clock here as Leftwich makes the call.
First down and 10 for Leftwich. Throwing sideline and completed to Curtis Jones. Gain of 16, and there is a flag down.
Looks like it could be a personal foul. Well, I'll tell you what, that was awfully late for a hold. Very late.
Marshall, the first MAC team to average more than 500 yards offense per game. And they're not at 500 yet tonight.
One thing that impresses me as we get this shot from the blitz is Leftwich. I like his demeanor, and I think that's one of the things the coach got great respect for him is with regards to his demeanor. Not too high, not too low. That's great to have that in the quarterback.
This is what it looks like from the blimp, and probably even a little smaller from the moon. So as Leftwich will throw, you get the aerial look from the really cheap seats. Able to complete. Can you see there from that point? It was 82. Josh Davis. 17-yard gain on the play.
Well, again, the great time that he gets, he sits there and essentially throws the same route. It's the out route. Instead of Jones this time, it was Davis.
Josh Davis, first team All-MAC. There it is again. Every Marshall player, or just about every player. 31 of 49, the numbers on Leftwich. 406 yards back. And looking for more. That in and out of the hands of Darius Watt. When Leftwich has been off, he's been high tonight.
Well, let's give credit to East Carolina. They came with 5 that time, decided that they wanted to blitz to shake him up a little bit, and when he saw the blitz, he hurried his throw a little bit, and that's why it was awry.
More great college football for you. Division I and Division I AA. They have a championship game on Friday on ESPN. Leftwich throws and completes. Hits Denero Marriott. Gain of 5 on the play. Kevin Ward made the stop.
Good tackle by Ward because it appeared that Marriott was going to be able to spin out and get some extra yardage and maybe get out of bounds, but Ward drops him in his tracks, and as a result, the clock will start again, even though they get the first down.
3 receivers to the right of Leftwich now. Trailing by 9. All 3 timeouts left.
Come with the blitz.
Pressure up the middle. Right by Leftwich. He's able to stand up and throw, and should have been complete, but that'll go as a drop. Marriott could not hang on. That would have been good enough for first down yardage, I think.
Got to feel really good when you're a receiver and you can run around and know that the first guy more than likely is going to miss your quarterback. I mean, comes right up the middle, completely untouched. Take a look. Here's Griffin. Got him dead to rights. No, I don't think so. You go by me. I tell you what, boy, I just am really impressed, besides the arm of Leftwich with his poise. And boy, has he been betrayed. I'm thinking, Steve, he's got to be well over 500 yards. According to what we have, the 9th drop of the game.
Here's Leftwich. And he went down. Let's see if they call him down. And they do. Cornell Griffin, the sack as Leftwich tried to get it away. A loss of 10. And Leftwich will shake that one off as well.
And it's almost and I was going to say, same spot. He's hurt again, but it's almost the identical play. Remember that Griffin came in and pile drives him into the ground. Take a look. He's able to fight through. Now right here, he's got him. Drives him into the ground right on that same side, the exact same play.
Getting a good look at Griffin. 13 tackles, 1.5 sacks. I told you he's in the top 5 in the nation in total tackles. Conference USA's all-time leader in tackles. And he has the school record at 24 tackles this season in the opener against Wake Forest.
Well, what's he done other than that?
Yeah, nothing. Double-digit tackles, Todd, in 21 of his 41 career starts. Cornell Griffin. And here's just tackle. He's not just arm tackling people either. And as you saw, I just asked Byron Leftwich, was putting a hurting on some people. College basketball would like to be, in some cases, as high scoring as this football game. Tennessee and Louisville, will they get there? Probably. 7 Eastern on ESPN2 tomorrow night. That'll be followed up by Memphis and Temple. Get a look at the diaper dandy DeJuan Wagner. John Chaney goes up against John Calipari. College basketball tomorrow night, right here on ESPN.
You know, as you mentioned that, I think it was the other, 2 nights ago, the Utah Jazz and the Miami Heat.
Last night?
Was it last night?
56 points.
56 points. You just mentioned those points. I thought, wow, that's pro basketball.
I would have liked to have heard Pat Riley's post-game press conference. Hey, that was in Miami.
Yeah, right.
They're not used to tough times. They got that brand spanking new arena down in Miami, too.
Well, 3rd and 19, you're saying to yourself, well, boy, you know, no big deal. But remember, he had a like situation when he threw the touchdown to Marriott.
Carolina bringing some people. Leftwich hangs in there and throws. Timing route is caught. Watts has the first down and was looking for extra yardage. But forced out. Gain of 23.
I don't understand the thinking. Again, you're ahead by 9 points. Maybe that's what it is. But why would you blitz in that situation? 3rd and 19. Rush 3, put 8 guys back, let him complete a ball for 8 yards, make a tackle, and force the 4th down. Instead, they go man coverage. And once again, Leftwich continues to burn them when they go man.
Making 3rd and 19 look rather easy. Gain of 23 on the play. Cross midfield and from the 42 of the Pirates. Leftwich to get all sorts of time. Has a man wide open. And make that drop number 10. Josh Davis. The guilty party.
To his credit, though, the young man, number 7, I have yet to see him, and I've been watching closely, I have yet to see him scream at somebody and tell him to hang on to the ball. And if ever there was a night where you could have done it, this is the night. A huge game, a championship game by their standards, a bowl game, rings, watches, whatever is on the line, and yet this young man has refused to blame anybody.
And that will also tell the NFL folks watching another positive about Byron Leftwich. We asked him about feeling the pressure. He goes, nah. Pressure breaks pipes, he said, not people.
You know what? That's a good... You know what? I was just thinking about that. I was looking down at my notes, right? And it's not 10. It's 11 drop. We have to count Dave Ryan.
We're not going to flash back and show the Dave Ryan drop. No. Ryan should have hung out, we thought, yesterday. So 1 drop yesterday, 10 here tonight in the GMAC. 10 drops. Not a laughing matter for the folks at Marshall. Here's Leftwich now.
Just again.
Takes a big hit. Hung in there for the last second and able to complete to Danero Maria.
And I think that they're going to tack on 15, I'm guessing here. That's got to be a roughing the passer. Kevin Ward is the one that came on the delayed blitz, and he hit him right. Boy, he whacked it.
Gets up slowly again after completing for 22 yards.
And folks, you wonder, you see how Leftwich looks a little bit fat. Well, he's not fat, you know that. Those are rib pads. And the reason you have to have those rib pads is because of the hits like this that you've got to take as the quarterback. Here comes Ward down the middle. There's the throw. Hits him right in the mouth. Good call by the official. And he hangs in there and delivers the ball on the money. Unbelievable. And Steve Logan, you know what? You need to get on the sidelines because that's exactly what maybe he didn't see him hit him in the mouth, but the timing of it was okay, but you can't go to his head.
I think when Coach Logan sees the replay, he will agree. Yep. Under 3 to go. Clock is moving. And so too is Marshall. First and goal from the 9 now after the penalty. Here's Leftwich. He guns it in there, and maybe too hard. Want to make that number 11? I'd say so. Off the hands of Josh Davis. I'd say so. And Leftwich continues to go back to the people who make the drop. Watts, Marriott, and Davis. Well, but who else are you going to throw to?
Yeah, it's everybody.
The only benefit there is it stops the clock. Leftwich's numbers, 34 of 56. But factor in 11 drops, his completion percentage is much better. Tries to take off up the middle himself, and he's taken down at the 11. Demain Duckett made the stop.
The idea was correct. The idea is correct because he's got everybody spread out. He's got the 5 wide receivers. He can get in there. If he gets past Duckett, it is a touchdown. But he's not quite as nimble as Gerard, and the result is he's able to make the tackle.
Third down and goal. They have 2 timeouts remaining.
Take a look at the middle. If he gets past this one guy, look at that. It's a touchdown. But instead he can't. Duckett with a big play.
Here's Leftwich, all sorts of time. Clear in the end zone, and his receiver slipped down. Curtis Jones. And Todd, you need 2 scores. Is there any question here?
Well, with they have 2 timeouts remaining. And so, no, they're going to kick a field goal. You're absolutely right. Good call.
Got to have the 2 scores anyway.
Take a look right here. Take a look at the bag. Take a look right here. He throws this on time. Take a look at the 2. He really wants to. Look at the back right here. Nobody here. Nobody here. That would have been easy first down. That's easy for me to second guess up there.
Curtis Head, his first field goal attempt of the game will be from 27. He's missed just once this season. That was from 32. And Head connects. A minute 53 to play.
Now, the question that I was saying when I mentioned the 2 timeouts is if they had enough time to stop them defensively. But obviously, they've given up 51 points. They're not going to stop them defensively. So I think it's a no-brainer here. They're coming back after this break. We are going to have an onside kick. 153 remaining in the 4th quarter. And, of course, if indeed they had been stifling on defense, maybe you can consider the idea of going with kicking off deep and holding them and calling your timeouts, but I don't think so. I think that right here you have to have your hands people. There are 10 people up, and they are going to line up. And, of course, they set the thing right away, the tee, leaning in that direction. Now, I guess the question here, Steve, would be, are you going to get the pop-up? Are they going to go with the one bounce? And they have their hands people out there, people like Alston and Henry, all their good players. So here it comes.
Curtis Head. Likely with the ball game and the balance. Ground ball. And there's the flag. It was recovered by John Williamson of East Carolina, the linebacker, and it did not appear to go 10 yards.
Well, it doesn't matter. They're going to recover that, and that was a poor onside kick, and I say that not to be critical, but simply the fact that as a kicker you get to practice it over and over and over again, and it comes right down the middle to number 30. Now, East Carolina will have the opportunity, assuming they don't turn the ball over, to run up clock.
Coming up next, this game has gone so long, forget about the NFL's greatest moments. We've moved on to NBA Tonight. Jason Jackson and Fred Carter are standing by. Todd, you would have been on that. Maybe you'll be on the NBA Tonight.
I was waiting for you to say it was late night sermonette. That's what was coming up next.
No gain on the handoff and the clock moving.
Or the test patterns. Now, after 2nd and 3rd down is when I guess they're going to use their timeouts. I'm surprised they didn't use it here. Yeah. But you know, in a strange game like this, Steve, you can't just assume what's going to happen. You might as well use it because you never know. I mean, if ever there was a game that was planned for another miracle to Meadowlands, this would be it. 38-8. Who knew, right?
Got the play clock down to 6 to get it off. And perfect to snap it with 2. Handoff, right side. It's Henry grinding it out, and now they'll take a timeout. A minute 4 left. Timeout for Marshall. They'll have one more.
See, we talked about how they wanted to ride Henry's back. I mentioned that the most carries that he had all year was 26. Now he's over that. That's the most he's had all year in this game.
We'll step out. 64 ticks remain. 6-point game. First two bowl games here in Mobile. We'll see if it's third time. The 25th ranked Marshall trailing by 6. Yates will make the stop on Gerard, and Marshall will be charged their final timeout with 57 seconds remaining on the clock. And it'll be a fourth down situation when we come back to Mobile.
All right, good crowd. One more time to make it come.
Back in Mobile, fourth down and 8. Jared Preston is on the punt. It appeared he was on the punt. Now they're just going to huddle on the field.
Well, the huddle is very simple, and that is protect the punter. You know, I mean, if he just hammers it to the end zone, that's fine. You know, don't try and angle it out. Don't try and be cute. You just don't want to give them an opportunity to get a chance at a blocked punt. So even though Preston might not like it, the idea here is, look, take 2 steps, just get the thing off. Don't worry about it. And if for whatever reason they can drive 80 yards, big deal.
NBA Tonight is coming up next. Jay Jackson, Mad Dog, they're standing by. We will see you over on ESPN News for post-game coverage of this one. Josh Davis is back at his 10. Jared Preston is set to punt. And Marshall's going to bring everybody but Davis. Bit of a high snap, and Preston does a nice job to get it out of there and bang it out of the end zone. Exactly. It's the best play of the game right there. 50 seconds left. Marshall will take over. First and 10 from their 20 with no timeouts remaining. But again, first down stops the clock.
And the game isn't over, just as you pointed out, Steve, because of that collegiate rule, the first down, and the way they're used to hustling up, and the short corners that have been so effective. But the one thing that can't happen for Leftwich here is people can't be dropping the ball. Up to this point, Steve, 34 for 57, 465 yards, but 11 drops.
3 receivers to his right. And here's Byron Leftwich with protection, throwing, and can't connect with Gennaro Marriott.
That's what we've been talking about, Steve. The short corner is there. Come back and do it again.
44 seconds left on the clock.
Now it brings up the question with regards to Tim Rose here, is whether or not he's going to blitz or he's going to stay with his 3-man rush. If I'm him, I stay with the 3-man rush and make this guy beat me with a long pass.
Marshall, the number 3 passing offense, the total offense team in the nation. And they need some of that offense, and they need it now. No timeouts remaining. Second and 10 from their own 20. Here's Leftwich. Carolina rushing 3. That's why Leftwich has time for lunch. And he just airs it out down the sideline. No white jersey even close to it. 36 seconds left. And it'll bring up a third down and 10.
Now, even though he doesn't like it, he might have to think about throwing the ball over the middle of the field to get the first down. Obviously, you want to throw to the side because you can get guys out of bounds and stop the clock. But he doesn't want to put himself in a situation of 4th and 10. He really needs the first here, and then he can sprint up and spike the ball.
Again, this is just bowl number 2 out of 25. Great time of year in college football. Sure is. On 3rd and 10 now. Leftwich will throw. He's got the man, and he's got the first down. Goes back to Marriott, other side of the field. Gain of 19. Clock stopped with 30 seconds left.
Steve, ultimately with 30 seconds remaining, one of the things right now that Leftwich may be looking back at is that first short corner that they didn't get, because time now is an issue with 30 seconds as opposed to 50 and 60 yards to go.
Trailing by 6. Field goal won't help him now. Leftwich has a seam across the middle and able to complete. Curtis Jones.
Now they've got to sprint up and spike it. They've got to sprint up and spike it as soon as he gets it, and they'll have about 23 or 22 seconds remaining on the clock.
That's a gain of 26. Still at 24 on the clock. And I think just a second comes off the clock. They never got to wind it. They spiked the ball.
But that sends enough on the part of Leftwich to do that. Absolutely. Now he can get together, get it from the sideline. In East Carolina, Tim Rose, boy, oh boy. He knows that they've got to be intense. They got to hang in there. Can't take it for granted.
Leftwich, 501 yards passing tonight. 23 ticks remain. This is 2nd and 10 at the 33 of East Carolina. Leftwich throwing and completing it. Marriott down to 10. Unbelievable. 15 seconds left. Unbelievable. Trying to rally the team. Gain of 19 on the play.
Now huddle together, and once again, only a second or two is going to bleed off from it.
And that time, not even a second went off the clock. It was stuck on 16, and that's where it is right now.
Now, Steve, depending upon how they do this here at the end, we're looking at possibly 3 plays. Possibly 3 plays. And Jim Rose might want to be thinking here, he's run out of real estate. Somebody's got to get Leftwich's face.
East Carolina has the timeout. Does that benefit the defense here in any way? In terms of personnel, getting a breather for some of your better defensive players.
You think about that, but the problem is, Steve, is that if you do that, that gives Leftwich time to recover and go over and visit about a number of plays. You want to put pressure on the young man. But then again, I'm saying to myself, they've been doing everything.
We need the clock. My apologies. We'll put the clock at 16 seconds. 16 seconds, a very polite referee.
And you hear the crowd booing, but I'm telling you, Steve, this is a big deal. Every second seems to mean something here in this game.
6-point game. 16 seconds left. Leftwich, 1st and goal from the 10. Quick corner to the end zone. It is. Oh, my God! He got it! Darius went up for the touchdown. He got it! And it's a tie game. With 7 seconds left, we are tied at 51.
Steve, he threw that before. He threw it before he was even in the end zone. What a timing throw by Leftwich. I can't believe what I just saw.
And for all the drops, 11 of them tonight from Marshall, Darius Watts hangs on to the most important one. His 2nd touchdown of the game. Here's the extra point from Curtis Head to put Marshall in front. He missed it! He missed it! What else can happen? Curtis Head, 51 of 57 on extra points during the regular season, just 2 shy of the match record, and he missed it.
Now, Steve, isn't that bizarre? I was just about to point out that he'd only missed 1 field goal, he's missed 6 extra points. What a throw by Leftwich. Snap, 1 step, throw it up. Look at that. Watts doesn't even come close to looking. Throws it over the top. Watts comes over the top. This is poor coverage. Poor coverage by the defender. But boy, what a great throw. And Leftwich has every reason to be excited. Kelly Hardy is the defensive back, and here's the reaction of the coaches. Yeah, the touchdown's great, but take a look at the reaction now at the extra point. Just awful. He just pushed it right. He missed it. Oh, man. What a game.
7 seconds left. 7 seconds left in regulation time.
No, the ball is gone right there. The ball is gone. And you can see Hardy does not get around in time. What a great catch. Gets both feet down. After all the struggles that the receivers have had, Steve, you called it. What a great catch in getting his feet down for the score.
Marshall has come all the way back. And now it's really on Marshall. They are an extra point away from winning the game. Head can't connect. And we are staring overtime in the face. Head will kick the ground ball on the kickoff. And East Carolina will just go down to the turf with, let's see, 4 seconds left. And again, we are a play away, likely from overtime. And you look at the overtime rules. Overtime is outstanding in college football. We can shut off the game clock.
I like the teams must go for 2-point conversions starting with a third OT. Now think about this, Steve. 51 to 51.
Yeah.
If we get a situation like the game, what was it, Mississippi and Arkansas? 7 overtime. Then the final score would be, it would be 49 and 49. It would be 100 to 100.
I'm having so much fun here in Mobile, Alabama. We decided to stick around a little longer. The GMAC ball is going OT. You can turn off the scoreboard clock, the play clock, the only thing that will count now. And we will have the coin toss upcoming for you. Coin toss, you know, you say it's not so pivotal because each team gets at least one crack with the football. Even in the NFL, it doesn't appear to be that pivotal. You usually lose a toss. It's about 50-50 in terms of winning the football game.
But, of course, you do want to go on defense. You know, you want to put the pressure on the other guy, maybe kick the field goal or even, you know, get a turnover. That's what you want to do.
I have a different
given the circumstances.
What do you like here? Heads or tails?
They send you out here by yourself? Yeah. You know what? I realize that the coaches don't feel that way because this is bizarre, but boy, they just haven't been cheating.
Eagles tail. 7, give me your call. Tails is the call. Come on, Pat. East Carolina, your options are to go on offense, defense, or which end of the field? Defense. You choose defense. Which end will we play? All right, spin around over here on defense.
Now, see, the thought process there, I thought it was interesting. If we win the toss, go defense. But he didn't give me anything to say about when they lost the toss.
Right. The score by quarters. You want to talk about a wild scoring scenario. Marshall outscoring East Carolina 43-13 in the second half. That's if they were blown out in the first half, trailing by 30 at the break. That was a wild sequence for Marshall. When you think about it, from 80 yards in 43 seconds, no timeouts. They get an unbelievable touchdown play and then miss the extra point, which would have won it.
It's an interesting psychology heading into the overtime for that very reason. I'm glad you pointed that out. You're saying to yourself, who has the advantage? Well, in theory, you would think offensively because of the way they rush down the field. But Marshall, change of expression.
All right, here we go. One of the great systems in all of sports, college football overtime. Each team gets at least one crack from the opponent's 25. Scoreboard clock, might as well turn it off. And a drop. Interesting the way they would start the overtime. Josh Davis could not hang on. We'll call that number 12. 12 drop passes on Leftwich tonight. Todd, what's an acceptable number? Offensive coordinator or quarterback, in terms of drops, you have to expect mistakes, especially at the college football level. I mean, obviously it's not 12, but it's 3 or 4 acceptable.
No, considerably less than half a dozen. That's what I was going to say, more like 3 or 4. But boy, and think about, you just saw that he had a career high 536 yards. How many yards would he have without the drop?
Second down and 10 now. Leftwich will step up under center. And that pass is blocked and nearly intercepted. Chris Howell, the nose guard, went up to bat that one down. And this will bring up a 3rd down and 10.
But again, this is what we were talking about. There is a little bit of renewed life there for the Pirates. And you can't help but think that after all the shots that Leftwich has taken, of course I keep saying that, and he keeps coming back. I mean, he's like, you know, he's a veritable phoenix as a quarterback. He keeps getting up and rising from the ashes and making plays.
The junior has said he's coming back next season. No matter what, he said this time of year next year, worry about the NFL. Here's 3rd down and 10.
That's Winston.
Leftwich across the middle. It is caught. The Darius block. Gain of 12 on the play.
I just don't understand why you want to blitz that guy. The guy is just killing you with man-for-man coverage. Here they come with a blitz. They come with 5. Stands in, man coverage. Watches too much for the corner. He takes the shot, but it's a 1st down for the Thundering Herds.
That settles down. They'll try the running game. Inside handoff to Franklin Wallace. And he's down to the 5. Howell brought him down after the gain of 6.
Obviously, Leftwich has been very effective, but I'm surprised, Franklin, that Wallace hasn't been used a little bit more.
The NBA tonight is coming up, unless we go much longer into the night, and then we'll move on to the next program. We've already blown off one show. We can go for 2. 2nd down and 3. Handoff. Again, it's Wallace. He bangs down close to the goal line, down about the 2-yard line now.
Well, he's going to get the first down. One of the things that's important for East Carolina on the sidelines now is their offensive people have to be on their toes and get themselves ready. They can't afford to be spectators and just watching what's going on the field because they're going to be on it a little bit and they can't afford to be flat.
Marcus Hairston checks into the game.
Well, that's their second tight end, Steve. Obviously, they're going to run instead.
First down and goal from the 2. Wallace in. Touchdown. Put 6 on the board. Marshall strikes first in overtime.
Steve, one thing that I've noticed here, and I'm sure you noticed the same thing, remember we were talking about how Marshall had been struggling on third down in the fourth quarter. I don't know what the conversion rate was, but it must be amazing. And that conversion on the 3rd and 10 was absolutely huge. That's what predicated the score by Wallace.
Todd Curtis' head comes on to try the extra point. Likely could have ended this one earlier, and he just gets that one through. I don't know if it was partially tipped or not. Just got that extra point through, and in fact, it was just tipped. And so that makes it a 58.
Good blocking at the point of attack as well. Steve, what I had mentioned about the third down conversions, remember at one point, they were 3 of 9. They were 3 of 9 on their third down conversions. Since that time, they've been 9 out of 10 on third down. And don't forget, a couple of those are like 3rd and 19, 3rd and 16.
So here now, East Carolina. Marshall picking a pretty good time to take their first lead of the game in overtime. Here's Garrard handing it off. Leonard Henry down for 5, touchdown. No problem at all. This is 25 yards for Leonard Henry. That Marshall offense better get ready to get back on the field.
Well, I tell you what, we talked about how the offense needed to be on top of their toes. The defense for Marshall clearly wasn't. Remember, this is the same play, Steve, where he had the long touchdown run. It appears that it's going to be the option. Instead, he hands to Henry underneath, just walks through and goes in completely untouched.
Let's not lose sight of this extra point. Yep. Kevin Miller misses. This ball game's over. 38 of 40 extra points during the regular season, and Miller is through. And we are headed for double
game between East Carolina and Marshall. Live with Coach Bob Pruitt. You said at halftime to your guys, do not give up on me. Did you ever think you'd come all the way back and force 2 OTs here?
Well, you know, you never say never, and we're excited about it. It's a shame one of these teams are going to end up not winning. I just hope it's not us.
What are you telling your offense right now?
We just got to score and keep them from scoring.
Good luck.
Thanks.
You know, could you go back with me on that? That was a little complex what he just said. A little too intricate. Now, did he say we're going to...
Are you going to mess with a head coach team who just outscored East Carolina 43-13 second half alone?
Now, I thought it was interesting in the course of... Now, see, that's a different man than the one that just talked to Dave Ryan. He went over a different thing to say. However, having said that, I thought it was interesting, classy on the part of Coach Pruitt to not even bring up this extra point. Now, as a result of the flip, you're asking yourself, what's the deal? Well, they go back on offense. As a result of winning the flip.
Down at the same end of the field. Handoff for Leonard Henry. Not much doing that time. They'll give him 1 on the forward progress. They'll bring up a 2nd down and 9. We are in the second overtime. The GMAC Bowl. We might be in classic sooner than you think. This has been a wild game.
More than 100 yards and 116 points. Wow.
We thought we were kidding when we promised you a lot of offense tonight. Defensive touchdowns, well, 4 of them tonight. Here's Garrard. Rolling to his right under some pressure from the backside, and he will incomplete to Torrey Morris. He's now to the 20-yard line. They'll give him 4 on the play. Up 3rd down.
Garrard does a nice job of feeling from the backside. It appears the secondary is going to get sacked, but he continues to roll to his right and buys time until Torrey can get open and get him the ball. Sorry, I called him by his first name. My son's name is Torrey. I just wanted to...
Understandable. Yep. Okay. NBA tonight is next still. When next is, we can't be sure. But we're told it's coming up next. 3rd down and 5 now. Gerard, the straight drop. Now rolling to his right. Directing traffic, and he'll cut it back.
He needs to get rid of it, Steve.
And he gets rid of it, and more than get rid of it.
Which shows why I'm up here, obviously. Well, of course, now they're going to kick the field goal, and I guess that just goes to show the confidence that they have in their offense, not so much their defense. It's to say, we can score a touchdown, we'll force them just to kick the field goal.
This will be from 40 yards away. Well, let's see.
It's going to be, Steve, it's going to be around 37, 38 yards.
Miller's long this season is 43. He does have a 52-yard field goal in his college career. It will be 37 times.
See, this year he has been perfect inside of 40. 12 for 12 coming into this game.
3 for 3 tonight. Snap. Place is good, and the field goal is up.
Whoa.
And it is good. It just got through. Kevin Miller connects from 37, and he's given East Carolina a 3-point lead.
That one falls under the heading of knuckleball. Phil Negro would have been proud of that one. I'm sorry, that day. Tim Wakefield would have been proud of that. Dennis Springer would have been proud of it.
Sparks. I'm out of knuckleball now. There is Miller.
You see the reaction of Coach Pruitt. He knew that was kind of off. It's kind of a funny kick, but he said, what the heck? We'll just have to come down here and see if we can score a touchdown.
That's a chip shot for the former East Carolina member of the golf team, Kevin Miller. And loaded it up one more time. Well, East Carolina has to score again. See what Marshall will do. 1st and 10 now. To 25. Trailing by 3. Leftwich. I think his arm's got to be tired. Throwing. Got a man at the 5. And it's Aaron Marriott. And Marriott was more bumped down than he was tackled. That was nearly ball game.
Steve, all night long when they rush 3 and they have the 2 deep zone, the short corner has been there over and over again, and Leftwich has been able to deliver it on the money.
This is 1st and goal. They won't need to kick an extra point if they get in the end zone. It's Franklin Wallace. Forget about the end zone. That's a loss on the play. Loss of 2.
Bad decision by Wallace. You got to stay, as they say, with your friends. The play was designed to go between the tackles. Once he came outside, he was by himself, and the pursuit caught up to him. He's now with his 8th tackle of the game.
2nd down and goal. Ball at the 6.5.
And what that loss does, Steve, now is it takes away a little bit the idea if he was up to 2 or 3, they could still run the ball. Here, I'm guessing that they're going to have to throw.
3 receivers to his right. Byron Leftwich. Leftwich is going to his left. Hard to bring down, not that hard. There's another loss of 2 on the play, and that pushes him back to the 8-yard line.
Very surprised at that because, as I say, once you're outside the 5-yard line, you don't want to be in a 3rd down conversion situation. You want to get it up top and throw it into the end zone. We know that he scored once on that play going to his left, but his forte obviously is throwing the ball. Give credit to the Pirates for excellent pursuit.
3rd and goal. Curtis Head, the kicker, who might be called on to try and tie this game, has struggled with his last couple of extra points. Missing one and just nailing another one. So here's 3rd and goal now from the 8. Leftwich steps up and throws, and it is caught. There is a flag down. Josh Davis has it for the touchdown of the end zone. There is a flag down.
Defensive holding.
It's against East Carolina, and Marshall wins. Davis, Watt, and Marriott have had problems with drops all night, and when it's counted most, Watt, the tying touchdown catch, and Davis in overtime, able to hang on. No extra point is necessary.
Steve, you and I have done a lot of games, and I'm not going to get into 64, 61, and all that other stuff right now. But the one thing I got to tell you is that if ever we have had a game where a young man lived up to the hype, it was this one in terms of Byron Leftwich. That young man was outstanding.
He's coming back for his senior season at Marshall.
And here he is throwing that dart. Look at
with that throw. And really, that was a tough catch in the hands by Davis. That's got to be an excited young man. But again, the guy that deserves all the kudos is number 7. Playing through the hit, playing through everything else. Steve, 41 for 70, 577 yards and 4 touchdowns. Unbelievable.
This has been a presentation of ESPN2, the worldwide leader in sports. Folks, you just saw a sporting event tonight. Now stay tuned.